for that to happen than in the hottest nightclub in the country. We are here at LIV in the heart of South Beach in Miami, Florida, which will play host to Jake versus Joshua live on Netflix this Friday. Today here at LIV, you're going to get a look at some of the biggest athletes, not just in boxing, but in combat sports. And we're also going to have 3 live fights headed your way featuring former world champion Shannon Courtenay.
So not only are we getting the fight week action started with some live fights, but also these workouts featuring the United States debut of Dubois. Cherneka Johnson's here, Alycia Baumgardner. It's such a cool experience for the fans here and the media here early in the week to get an up-close and personal look at some of the biggest superstars in all of boxing. And of course, Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul will be here as well. This is the MVP Showcase 2.
They say I'm unproven, untested, that I talk big and fight small. Well, surprise, bitch.
It's time for America to see what real power looks like.
I want to see who's still talking when this right hand flies.
This is the fight that shuts everyone up.
This is the fight
that shuts man down.
This is the moment. This is what you want in boxing. Incredible. What a shot. It is lights out.
We are live from Miami, Florida, just days away from Judgment Day. Jake versus Joshua, one of the biggest sporting attractions of the year, live on Netflix. And today, we set the table at MVP Showcase 2. And we welcome you inside LIV Nightclub, the hottest club in the United States. Hello, everyone. I am Corey Urban alongside Christina Puncher. Pleased to be calling the action for you all night long here from ringside. And Christina, I cannot believe that we are just days away from Jake Paul fighting Anthony Joshua. I want to stress that again. Jake Paul is fighting Anthony Joshua this Friday live on Netflix.
Can you pinch me? Like this is really real. It's really happening. The anticipation, the build-up. Just days away now. We are kicking off a fight week in tremendous fashion here with the open workouts. Of course, you're going to see some of the biggest stars in boxing, and that man right there, his name is right up there, Anthony Joshua. You know, he is your traditional heavyweight. He came up the right way. He's 6'6", former Olympian, 2-time heavyweight champion, KO power. But the most important thing for AJ, I think this week is that he's getting back into the ring, Corey. After being out for 15 months, he wants to get in here, take care of what he calls probably easy work against Jake Paul, and then get back to a massive 2026. But he's got to go through this man right here, the man that has manifested nearly every opportunity in his life, and now he's taking on his toughest opponent by far. He's fighting to redefine what's possible, turning skepticism into motivation, into momentum, Corey, and every round that he survives against AJ changes the conversation, I feel, for Jake Paul going forward.
Yeah, and you and I were talking about the fact that Jake Paul seems to have manifested this moment. You know, when Jake was talking about the big names he wanted to face, as you see him going face-to-face with Anthony Joshua, who would have actually believed that he would be facing one of the best heavyweights of this generation?
That's exactly what manifestation is. You got to speak it into existence. You got to speak it into belief. But it's almost time to put all the talk to rest and these two to step into the ring come Friday night on a Netflix right here in Miami, the place that Jake Paul ironically made his pro debut. I just can't wait for it.
A massive heavyweight fight, 2 of the biggest stars and biggest draws in the sport of boxing today. And speaking of big stars that people are coming to see, let's send it over to the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Simply Skulls.
Oh, I don't know about that line, but I'm going to take it for now because we are in Miami. It's all going down. MVP Showcase 2. Jake Joshua, that is what we're all here to see. But you know it is a stacked packed card already with the open workouts and 3 fights going down. Let me take you through our night here at LIV Nightclub in Miami. It goes down, top of the hour. Cherneka Johnson, she is making her way back to open workouts here. We're going to see her, obviously, under MVP signing. Next up, we got Carolyn Dubois making her MVP debut. We're going to see her workout. She's an Olympian. She's bringing a lot to that ring, and we're excited to see her. We are all calling her the future face of women's boxing. Also, we've got a couple rounds going on with Shannon and Jessica. That's Courtenay. Shannon is actually from the UK, and she is taking on Jessica, and that's going to be a good one to watch. Jahmal Harvey's got a surprise up his sleeve after his open workouts, and we still got more from Nat Dove. She is an MVP signee taking on Perla, and of course, 2 legends in their own right. Tyron Woodley and Silva going head-to-head this Friday. We're going to see what they bring today at the fans. I know are going to love this open workout. Of course, we got another fight coming your way with Medeiros and Macias, so we're going to see what goes down there. And the bomb is in the building. Alycia Baumgardner coming in. And of course, the 2 men that everyone's coming out here to see in Miami. They've flown in. Everyone's loud at LIV. It is Anthony Joshua taking on Jake Paul. I'll be talking to everybody in that ring after their fights, after their open workouts. Stay tuned, a lot on the way. And we need your eyes right here.
As we take a closer look at the undisputed bantamweight champion, Cherneka Johnson, who will be working out in our room here in just a few moments. Of course, a big fight for her coming up on Friday against Amanda Gallet, a 2-division world champion. And of course, we saw her on the Taylor Serrano 3 undercard, really the crowning moment of Cherneka Johnson's career. And back in the spotlight in Miami.
Hey, you look really good,
and we are ready to get the action started. So let's send it up to our MC for this evening. It's Big Mo.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome all of you tuning in around the world on YouTube, and we welcome all of you joining us here live from the world-famous LIV Nightclub here in Miami, Florida, as Fight Week has descended. This Friday, the biggest fight of the year, Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, live from Miami, Florida, and live around the world on Netflix. But before we get to Friday night, we kick off our Fight Week events with the MVP Showcase 2, where we'll have members of our card on Friday night get into the ring for our public workouts, but we also have 3 featured professional bouts. We kick off today's showcase by introducing a very special undisputed world champion to the ring for her open workout. She is defending her undisputed title Friday night on Netflix. Introducing to the ring, she holds a professional record of 17 victories versus 2 defeats, with 7 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Gold Coast, Australia, by way of Tauranga, New Zealand. Ladies and gentlemen, she is the current reigning and defending undisputed bantamweight champion of the world, Cherneka Johnson.
Well, this is the undisputed women's bantamweight champion, Cherneka Johnson, 18-2. And as mentioned, her crowning moment came on the Taylor Serrano 3 undercard when she stopped Sharetta Metcalf in the 9th round. Just a relentless performance in that fight, Christina. And there are some similarities when it comes to this opportunity for Cherneka here. Of course, she got that opportunity on that undercard because Dina Thorsland had to pull out. This fight was made because the Ellie Scottney fight fell out on this card. So Cherneka just keeps capitalizing on these moments.
Big stars shine in big moments, and they maximize opportunity when they've presented themselves. That's exactly what she did, making history for New Zealand, becoming undisputed. I have a feeling, again, stepping up, even though it's short notice on this big stage, she's made for moments like this, Corey, and I think that her star is just going to continue to rise as we head into 2026.
As mentioned, she'll be defending her titles against Amanda Gallet. Amanda Gallet, one of the brightest stars in Canadian boxing. And this will be an interesting stylistic matchup as well. Of course, we've seen how aggressive, how well Cherneka Johnson could bang away on the inside. The hallmark for Amanda Gallet, very much that long jab. So this is kind of your very traditional stalker versus boxer matchup.
Yeah, and who can implement their game plan sooner? Who can make the necessary adjustments? Like you said, Corey, I mean, Neeks would love to turn this into a firefight. She'd love to bring it into an all-action brawl, but the discipline, the maturity that Amanda Gallet has, I think that, you know, I think she has a good opportunity if she can establish that jab early come Friday night to swing things her way and maybe take the tempo back in her favor as the rounds continue.
So much momentum for Sugar Neeks coming into this one. 3 title fights, 2 knockouts, and of course her social media profile very much growing as well. Obviously aided a little bit by signing with MVP and their social media prowess. But as you mentioned, Cherneka Johnson, with the way that she has marketed herself, seemed even before she got the spotlight like she was going to be comfortable in it.
She's got to be comfortable. She's got to be comfortable in her own skin, like quite literally. When she wore that body paint at that weigh-in against Alycia Baumgardner, I think her social media followers went up like 100,000 after that. But then she's also earned it the hard way too, after suffering that horrific cut against Susie Ramadan. Those highlights went viral. She collects another 200,000 more followers after that. So she's done it both glitz and glam, but she's all substance, and I'm really looking forward to getting a good look at her come fight night. And we're getting a good look right here of some pad work she's doing here at the open workout.
Cherneka working with her trainer, Chad Wilson. Minus 1,000 favorite coming into this fight. Obviously, Johnson much more well-known on the global stage than is Amanda Gallet. And some of it as well, Christina, is people thinking about what the future could hold for Cherneka Johnson. What fights could be out there? Is there another fight against Alycia Baumgardner? Could there be an all-Australian showdown with Ebony Bridges? I mean, imagine social media's reaction to that.
Goodness. Well, and I think both are possibilities, because Sugar Neeks is the type of fighter that's willing to kind of go up or down a weight class if big fights are meant to be made. Reminds me of Michaela Mayer, right? Another fighter that is willing to move weight classes if the opportunities present themselves. She's shown that she could step in on short notice. You know, so if it's going up a weight class or going down, I'd love to see the Alycia Baumgardner rematch. And then, of course, the all-down-under match with Ebony Bridges would be epic now that they're both under the MVP banner.
Well, we've seen the enthusiasm that the Australian crowd has for the sport of boxing. This is a great era for Australian boxing overall. Obviously, the cruiserweight champion of the world, Jai Opetaia, among others. But when we've gone to places like Australia for fights involving George Kambosos, Christina, those are stadium fights. And it might not be out of the question to put a fight like that, a Cherneka Johnson versus Ebony Bridges, in a massive type of venue in their home country.
No doubt about it. I mean, I'll never forget the feeling being in that stadium when Manny Pacquiao fought Jeff Horn and calling that fight that night, and you know how that felt. And you know, with the way that MVP is pushing women's boxing, with the way that they have promoted, with the stable of fighters that they have signed, I wouldn't put it past them that an event of that magnitude there with fighters like this could very well be possible.
You see in the bottom right of your screen some highlights from Sugar Neeks, of course. Just plowing Sharetta Metcalf into the canvas, and there.
I mean, that was a surprise.
Sequence. Yeah,
that really came to surprise to a lot of people, because I mean, the way Chicken was built up, winning her world title, coming in that night, I don't think that she came into that fight and that camp mentally in the right place. I don't think that she was as prepared as she probably wishes she would have been, given the magnitude of that moment. But hey, same thing for Cherneka Johnson being able to step up to the plate, take those belts home. I mean, what a night for her. You see her smile. I mean, speaking of two of the most beautiful smiles, right, Corey, up there in the ring right now? Go
That's
ahead.
right. Let's send it up to them. Let's send it up to Sibley.
All right, Miami, make some noise. Sugar Neeks in the ring right now. How are we feeling being out here in this beautiful weather with this crowd here on another stacked card?
You know what? I'm just blessed and I'm grateful to be here. I'm buzzing. I just got itchy knuckles. I want to get in there come Friday night.
Last time we saw you in the ring, obviously handled business. What has changed in camp? What are we going to see come Friday?
You're going to see another level of me, and you know, I'm yet to bring the best version of what I'm capable of bringing to the ring. So come Friday night, you're going to see just that.
I know that you've been very vocal about signing with MVP and why you signed with them, the platform that they offer, what you get, especially in the women's world of boxing. Has it shown improved so far, and do you love where you're at with MVP?
I absolutely love being a part of MVP and what they're doing, and just the exposure they're giving us women and just boxing in general. So, you know, it's incredible to be a part of.
Before I let you get out of here, say something to your fans because they're going to be tuning in.
I appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in. Lots of love.
There you go, guys. Good luck on Friday. We'll be watching you in that ring.
So coming up Friday on December 19th, live on Netflix, you can see Cherneka Johnson defending all of her belts against Amanda Gallet. And if you want to be there in person, of course, you can head over to the Kaseya Center. Tickets for Jake versus Joshua are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com, starting at just $50. So Cherneka Johnson starting things off for us here at LIV Nightclub as the parade of stars continues. And up next, we're going to take a closer look at the newest signee of MVP Most Valuable Promotions, Caroline Dubois, the reigning WBC World Lightweight Champion, will be taking part in her first pro fight outside of England. Well-traveled on the amateur circuit, but her U.S. debut goes down on Netflix this Friday, and we're ready to get a closer look at Caroline Dubois.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, up next for our open workouts, live from LIV Nightclub here in Miami Beach. The contest Friday night is 10 two-minute rounds for the WBC Lightweight Championship of the World. And now introducing to the ring, the defending world champion, undefeated as a professional, 11 victories, opposite no defeats and 1 draw, with 5 of those wins coming by way of knockout. All the way from London, England, making her U.S. debut, MVP's newest signee, the current, the reigning and defending WBC Lightweight Champion of the World, Sweet Caroline Dubois.
So here comes Sweet Caroline Dubois, the undefeated world champion, reigning WBC lightweight champion, coming off a win over South Korea's Bomi Shin at London's Royal Albert Hall.
And that was a fight that I think most fans would agree, and she would agree, where she kind of was finally tested in that fight. The matchmaking and everything had been pretty convenient in her favor up until that point, and she had to dig a little deep there. Would you agree?
Yeah, and I think it was a good learning experience, and by her own admission as well,
right.
Because after that final round, Caroline Dubois admitted, hey, I got rocked a little bit,
yeah.
But it's because I feel like I need to be a better fighter on the inside. Obviously, this is an incredibly decorated fighter who has skills across the board, but I thought it was an impressive level of self-awareness for a fighter to admit that seconds after the fight was over.
For sure, and I think it just goes to show her IQ, right? She's a very smart fighter. She's technically sound. And for her to say, I need to work a little bit better on my inside game and be able to reflect on that immediately. Also, she probably listened to her corner real good, too, and what they were telling her, those instructions that night as well. And what a treat for the fans here in the United States as well to get to see Caroline Dubois up close and personal right here at the open workouts, and then of course on Friday night. And Corey, she looks in great shape.
Yeah, she looks in tremendous shape. Of course, a part of a fighting family.
Yes.
Her brother Daniel, former world heavyweight champion, and the Dubois fighting bloodline, you know, just the story of the Dubois family, you know, obviously having a brother who's a fighter, that's one thing, but Carolyn then discovering that her ancestor, Sylvia Dubois, was a bare-knuckle fighter in the 1800s, and then goes about her life not really knowing that until she sits down in front of the TV, sees women fighting at the Olympics, sees Katie Taylor in 2012, and says, oh wow, I could do that? It's just an astonishing story.
It really is incredible. When I was reading that, of course, you know, boxing's in her blood, and with her siblings, she has multiple siblings that box, obviously Daniel at the highest level. But to know that Sylvia Dubois, who shares her name, back in 1808, as you mentioned, was able to set free her family by knocking out her slave's mistress in an act of defiance in 1808. I mean, my goodness, I have never heard of another fighter, active, past or present, that has a story and a lineage in boxing that deep to the 1800s. That blew my mind. Blew my mind.
Dubois now, of course, a part of the World Championship lineage and part of a lightweight division that has got a little bit of a facelift as of late. Of course, Stephanie Hahn, now world champion. We've got a new destroyer in the division in Elif Tehran. What a performance she had. Of course, Terry Harper, now part of the MVP stable as well. So there's so many options out there for Dubois, in addition to the potential of moving up in weight to get to face some of the big stars there.
Well, of course, and you know, not every division in women's boxing, I don't have to tell our hardcore boxing fans this, they're not all deep divisions, okay? It's not always that difficult to unify or to become undisputed. That's not quite the case with this division. Of course, the third defense of that title come Friday night, the WBC lightweight title.
She's going to be taking on Camila Panada, who's the 13th ranked lightweight, according to the WBC, 8-2-1. Panada looking to break what is a little bit of a drought when it comes to Italian women winning world titles. Now training in West Palm Beach, Florida with Javier Centeno. Panada looking to pull what is a major upset.
Yeah,
we see Dubois and Shane McGuigan still shaking out.
Javier Centeno, the team he has there, they've really got Camila in fantastic shape. I had a chance to talk to her. She trained in Mexico, so cut her chops there. You know, one of the hardest hitting, they called her, you know, Italian Mexicans that they've come across. And she's sparred with Katie Taylor, also making her U.S. debut just like Carolina. So a lot on the line for her, too. And I think these two, if correct me if I'm wrong, I think they sparred a couple of rounds many years ago, right?
I think when you look at high-level women's fighters, there's a lot of kind of cross-pollination, right? It's kind of like heavyweights.
Yeah.
All the big-name heavyweights have sparred one another. And Carolyn Dubois, as we mentioned, has been a globetrotter throughout her career, both in terms of active competition, but then in terms of seeking out the right training partners to get her ready. But it will be interesting, as you pointed out, when you have fighters who do have that familiarity with one another, it can change the whole landscape of a fight sometimes.
And I think that, like you said, for fighters like Dubois who have been at that weight class their entire career, there's a chance, if not in your amateur, you know, experience, then as a pro preparing for fights, once a sparring partner, now a world champion, you're going to come across a lot of the same names, same women. And you know, this time it's a battle of the southpaws with no headgear and a smaller glove size. So I'm really very much looking forward to this matchup on the undercard, streaming on MVP's YouTube, on Netflix YouTube on Friday night.
Once again, tickets still on sale at Ticketmaster.com, starting at just $50. You can be there in person at the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida. As Carolyn Dubois wraps things up with Shane McGuigan. And all right, we are ready to hear from Carolyn, who is standing by with Sibley.
All right, we're here. Let's get centered up because Miami, you want to see the beauty of LIV right now, right? Miami, make some noise. Let's go. We got Carolyn Dubois in the ring showing us a little preview of what's going down this Friday on that prelim card. How does it feel? Talk to me first of all, making your MVP debut. I've seen all the pictures with everything and the hype getting to this. You have shown and proved who you are. What will we see come Friday?
I think you're going to see, Tyron Dubois, what she brings, and that's excitement. Every time I step into the ring, it's excitement. It's excitement, it's knockouts, it's bad intentions, I believe I'm one of the baddest women on the planet, and I can't wait to show it on one of the best platforms.
You say one of the best platforms. We're talking MVP, we're talking Netflix. How does it feel to make the MVP debut on such a stacked card?
It's a blessing, I sit down and I just, I'm so thankful to God, thankful to my brothers and sisters who come out with me, thankful for my team, and it's a time for me to shine, show the world who Tyron Dubois is, and I stand alone. I'm happy to do that.
I love the confidence that you talk about because you own it and you show it. It's not just words. You're actually showing it in the ring. What does it mean to know where you are right now, and what do you see? Because a lot of people are saying you are the face of women's boxing. You were the future of it. It's about to be you. Do you own that right now?
100%. I think you're looking at the face of women's boxing, the baddest woman on the planet, and I can't wait to show that on Friday.
To your opponent, any words?
No words, just show up.
Show up and show out. Miami! Get on your feet if you're not already. Make some noise. MVP's newest signing, Carolyn Dubois, should be taking the ring on Friday. Good luck. Thank you.
And thank you, Sibley. That's right. Carolyn Dubois taking on Camila Panada, putting her WBC lightweight world title on the line at the Kaseya Center here in Miami, live only on Netflix. There is so much on the horizon for Carolyn Dubois in the way of unification fights, maybe undisputed title fights at this weight class or perhaps above, but she has to get by the Italian underdog Camila Panada for any of those dreams to come true. It's a dream opportunity for Dubois, live this Friday. And we are ready for our next open workout. And another one of the newest signees of Most Valuable Promotions, Jahmal Harvey, already 1-0 in his professional career, making his second career start, as we mentioned. Just a devastating knockout over Marcelo Aguilar in his professional debut. And as you see at the bottom of your screen, the first American male gold medalist at the World Amateur Championships since Demetrius Andrade. Illustrious company for Jahmal Harvey. Will shake out in the ring in just a few moments as we hand it back up to Big Mo.
Up next, ladies and gentlemen, for the MVP Showcase 2, our next open workout. This individual fighting on Friday in the super featherweight division, making his way to the ring. Please welcome the undefeated, the amateur world champion, the 2024 Olympian. Please welcome MVP's own Jahmal Harvey.
Out of 25, big out of 24, make me nervous. I just turned the same age a couple days ago. I'd be lying if I said I never saved.
MVP's U.S. Olympian, amateur world champion, 10-time U.S. national champion Jahmal Harvey, ready to show his stuff in front of the fans here at LIV Nightclub. The 23-year-old started boxing at the age of 13, and just a little over a decade later, now one of the bright young stars, a member of the MVP stable. And Christina, obviously, this is big news for Jahmal Harvey to be a part of the MVP stable, but I also think that it's proof of something else. A lot of the discussion this week is going to be around the doubts that were around Jake Paul as a fighter. But I think that there were maybe similar doubts about the promotion. Are they in it for the long haul? If you're scouting and signing U.S. Olympians and national champions like Jahmal Harvey, that means you are in it for the long haul. This is a fantastic signing from MVP.
There was no doubt when talking with Nakisa Badarian that Jahmal Harvey was MVP's top target coming out of the Olympics. He was a 10-time U.S. junior national champion. when Jake Paul saw him up close, he immediately said, this guy stands out to me. I feel like he has the potential to become a future world champion and a massive star. What a huge get for MVP here. And then this is what MVP does. Puts their young star on a platform like this. And kind of by luck, though, right?
Yes,
he wasn't going to be on the main card.
Right. Well, but to your point, I think that oftentimes the strategy is to put a young star on the undercard, and why not just put them right on the main broadcast where the most eyes are? If you think that Jahmal Harvey is going to be the future, put him on there, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, expose him to the most eyeballs possible, and where are the most eyeballs going to be? On Netflix. They've shown that, time and time again with the influence that they've had on the sport. So MVP, instead of having him fight on this day, when the fight was originally scheduled against another opponent for Jake Paul, they go on ahead and move him to the opening bout of the Netflix show on the main card. Congratulations to Jahmal Harvey and his team. I hope we see a little more than one round, although he says, I don't get paid for any extra rounds.
No.
We only saw about a round of him last time in his pro debut, but for his sake, it's a tremendous opportunity.
See him working out with his trainer, Daryl Davis, and this is a family, or Jahmal Harvey in particular, but Daryl Davis himself too, with a football background. And Jahmal Harvey, when he was a youngster playing football, there were people that were comparing him to Tyreek Hill. I read that he had 46 touchdowns in a season one year.
Yeah, it was incredible. And I think it's like the size comparison, right? He's only about 5'4", 5'5". So when you're that undersized, but that speedy guy, that fast guy, you can make those comparisons, at least when we talk about their football ability on the field.
That's right.
Let's stick to that part of the game. But look, I mean, he said football was his first love, but once boxing came across his way, and how could it not, being from that DMV area, right? And the kind of fighters that he grew up alongside, seeing guys like Gary Russell, Gary Antoine Russell, Lamont Roche. He got the bug and never looked back.
Yeah, and I think the more that we go on, the more that we understand the fact that sometimes you can be a fighter that didn't start boxing at the age of 7. That if you kind of sample widely athletically, you turn into an athlete like Jahmal Harvey, and he brings that football mentality as well. They're used to 2-a-day workouts, the work ethic. When they enter the sport of boxing,
look at his
not
physique.
Something you're afraid of.
Look at his physique. He's got abs on abs on abs. He's in tremendous shape. 130-pounder, junior lightweight. I mean, it's just, he's got the discipline, and he's one of those guys that's just ultra competitive. He wants to win at everything that he does. And, it doesn't surprise me that he says one of his favorite fighters is Terrence Bud Crawford. I think he might just be a little bit competitive, Corey, right?
A little bit, right?
Switches southpaw like him, too.
Yes, he does. And, of course, Jahmal Harvey, and anyone that comes up through that U.S. elite amateur system, as you know, Christina, it's really a tight bond between all of those fighters, and that kind of learning tree that's been passed down from Andre Ward to Terrence Crawford to Keyshawn Davis to Shakur Stevenson. Young stars like Jahmal Harvey, they always seem to benefit from mentorship from the greats that came before them.
No doubt about it. And even when they get to the highest level, you still see guys like Shakur Stevenson walking out with a Terrence Crawford and an Andre Ward flanking him.
You'll see them at amateur tournaments.
Absolutely. It's great.
Of course, we originally thought that Harvey would head towards the 2028 Olympics before he signed with MVP. And listen, you never know. Pros can fight in the Olympics still, but I would suspect that by the time Jahmal Harvey is, 3 years into his pro career at that point, that the Olympics may be a little bit beyond him, but it remains a possibility for fighters like him.
Yeah, I didn't ask him the question straight out if he had any desire to or not, but if he continues to be on big stages like this and his star continues to rise and he starts to make some good money, I mean, he might just stay put right where he's at. And he's off to a really good start. I mean, first round basically stopped because the opponent didn't come out of the corner to start round 2 in his pro debut. So we still need to see more of him outside of training footage and his amateur pedigree. But I think, as you can tell right now, even just how he's working these pads, working the angles. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the pitter patter, like quick stuff, but this is immediate workout, right? I mean, they are out here, open workout.
That's what social media wants to see.
Tell me about it. The Ryan Garcia way? No.
While Harvey taking on the undefeated Kevin Cervantes on Friday night. Cervantes himself nearly a 90-fight amateur bout veteran, the national champion in his home country of Colombia as well. So a fairly audacious step up for Jahmal Harvey in just his second career fight. And I think more and more, Christina, we're seeing that as a trend with these young prospects who have seen this era of stars not waste any time and step up in quick fashion.
Yeah, Cervantes does have a shiny record at 5-0. But at the same time, I mean, these are the kind of guys you have to go through when you're building your chops as a young pro. And yeah, this is a good test for him at this point.
Well, Harvey, a native of Oxon Hill, Maryland, which of course also claims Sugar Ray Leonard. He's got big shoes to fill if he wants to be the greatest fighter to ever come out of Oxon Hill, but there is a lot of promise. When it comes to Jahmal Harvey, as you mentioned, Nikisa Medeiros truly believes he will be one of the next faces of boxing. He'll be showing his face on Netflix live this Friday. Jahmal Harvey wrapping things up. Excited to get another look at Harvey on Friday night. Two decorated amateurs in Harvey and Cervantes. Be kicking things off on the main broadcast, as Christina pointed out. And we're going to hear from Jahmal in just a few moments. Of course, just a reminder, we do have 3 live fights still coming your way in the midst of our open workouts, including former world champion Shannon Courtenay, who will be in action. MVP zone Nat Dove back in action as well, herself a former national amateur champion, like this man, Jahmal Harvey, who is standing by with Sibley.
All right, we are in the ring right now. Jahmal Harvey, how we feeling?
I'm feeling great. Ready to step in the ring come Friday and put on the show for everybody.
So you're 1-0, Cervantes is 5-0. I don't think to you right now, seeing the confidence, seeing that you've already got your resume built up so much, second pro fight, MVP debut, do numbers really matter though?
The numbers don't really matter. I mean, it do, but hey, I'm just ready. I'm just prepared for this moment. I've been preparing for this moment since I got into boxing, so it's a dream come true. Gotta give a shout out to MVP. Thanks for putting me on this stage to showcase my talent.
You talk MVP, obviously, that's got to have a great feeling behind it, right? What is the driving motivation to continue to push forward, to do what you're doing at only 22 years old, right?
The motivation is myself. I want to do something great in this world while I'm living.
What was the conversation like when Nikisa and Jake Paul came to you? And then to come out here, not on the prelim, we're on the main card, we're ready to go. You're kicking it in.
Man, I was shocked. Not too many people get this opportunity in a second pro fight. It just showed they had a lot of confidence in me, and I'm just ready to make them look good, make myself look good, and show them I belong. And I am the fighter that everybody gonna know, and I'm just ready. Like, second pro fight, main card, Netflix, ready to show the world. If they don't know me, they gonna know me after this.
Absolutely. Now, were there any fighters that you looked up to as you were coming up, or is there some style that you like, or are you just going to create all your own?
Truth be told, I'm not the biggest boxing fan. Football my favorite sport. I got into boxing at the age of 13. Fighters I watched growing up really was just Floyd Mayweather. Like, my family ain't the biggest boxing fans. We just went seeing Floyd fight, but once I got into boxing, fighters I watched a lot of fighters coming up like Canelo. Once I got into boxing, Lomachenko. like the world champs, like the big names.
And the next one that I talked to, fighters after you were going to say, I watched Harvey.
You said what? Say what?
I said the fighters coming after you were going to say that they looked up to Harvey. They watched Jahmal Harvey, and you're going to have that same ability as everyone else.
Hopefully, that make me feel good. Be some fighters coming up in the amateurs and like little kids around in my gym or just that's growing up in my LBC. I come into fights and they tell me that and put a smile on my face.
Now you talk about kids. We have something I know special that you're going to be doing right now, and we do these for our fights. Do you want to present that to everyone, what's going down?
Yeah, I want to give a huge shout out to Event Ticket Center and shout out Boxing Bullies on behalf of Event Ticket Center. We got 200 tickets for you guys to come Friday, December 19th. Jake Joshua, come out and watch, and we're going to put on a good show.
Are they his Boxing Bullies here? Yes? Oh, there we go.
Shout out Boxing Bullies.
That is amazing. We're so excited for that opportunity for everyone to have their eyes on Friday night. Is there any statement that you want to make to the crowd, to all the fans watching right now, and everyone seeing what you're about to do in that ring on Friday?
I'm about to put on a live, exciting, action-packed fight. There's going to be a lot of punches, a lot of damage being dealt, and just great skill put on performance.
There you go. Miami, make some noise. We will see you on that main card. Jahmal Harvey on Friday. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sibley. Great to hear from Jahmal Harvey. As mentioned, he'll be taking on Kevin Cervantes, two men who have won national amateur championships in their respective countries. They'll be kicking off the main broadcast live only on Netflix this Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Jahmal Harvey, perhaps the future of the super featherweight division. And tomorrow, live only on Netflix, Jake versus Joshua. The press conference coming your way. Excuse me, you can see that on the MVP and Netflix YouTube pages. And you don't ever want to miss a Jake Paul press conference. Fighters will be speaking their minds at the table tomorrow, live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time.
I'm looking forward to that press conference too, Corey, because I think every fighter on the card is going to be there at the press conference. So I'm looking forward to getting to hear some new sound bites from the fighters, being that it's the first time they'll see each other face to face come fight week. Should be a good one.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing Alycia Baumgardner and Leila Beaudoin, of course, the co-feature live on Friday. Alycia putting her titles on the line, the unified world champion in her weight class, taking on Leila Beaudoin, who is stepping up onto the biggest stage that she's ever been on in her career.
What a big opportunity for Leila. And when you talk about, you know, taking on a fighter like Alycia Baumgardner, if you've watched any of the kind of pre-fight build-up, Leila's not much of a talker, right? She's been quiet. She's kind of a silent killer, if you will, especially with what she showed in her last fight. But the opposite of that is Alycia Baumgardner, right? She talks the talk. Yes, she backs it up. There's no doubt about that. But she's meant for stages like this, Corey. You're going to see it when she hits the pads and works out here for you guys later on. You're going to see it when she shows out with her probably amazing outfit that she's going to wear tomorrow to the press conference, because she knows look good, feel good, fight good, get paid good. All of those things is, Alycia Baumgardner. And then, of course, going to back it up in the ring come co-main event on Netflix Friday night.
Yeah, and you and I have had the chance to see the growth of a lot of young fighters. And I think you'll agree with me on this. Sometimes you see a fighter early in their career and they look like they are made for the big stage. I've had the chance to call most of Leila Beaudoin's career as we take a closer look at her, and she did always seem to have that kind of radiant star quality. If she could make her way out of the Canadian and the Quebec scene, that she would get an opportunity like this. And there was a period of time, a period of hardship for Leila Beaudoin where things weren't going well. She wasn't sure whether she'd be able to continue on in the sport. Luckily, she did, because that win last time out over Mekhaled, obviously an eye-opener and a power surge for Leila Beaudoin.
Yeah, and a fight that she said when I spoke with her last week, like, look, I took 3 steps forward in that fight. It was an amazing opportunity for me. It's really a turning point in my career. Felt like it led to this opportunity right here because Alycia has made that clear. I called out Leila. I wanted to fight her, and I think she liked what she saw from her in her last fight, which is arguably her best performance of her career.
Yeah, I think undoubtedly. And, you know, speaking of people that I saw early in their career, I called one of Alycia Baumgardner's, I think, first 4 fights. And it was another one of those circumstances, right? As we take a closer look at Alycia Baumgardner. At that point, Baumgardner didn't have a major promoter. She was someone making her way through, you know, the Midwest and then through the Louisville scene. But you could tell that this was someone who just needed an opportunity. And look what's happened when she got that opportunity. 6-0 in world championship fights, and now holds 3 of the titles in the super featherweight division.
And something we haven't even talked about yet, Corey, 3-minute rounds for these ladies. They are fighting for the men's rules, 12 rounds, 3-minute rounds. That's something MVP approached Alycia Baumgardner about, and she didn't hesitate. She wanted to take on the challenge of fighting the same championship rounds as the men. You know, the women typically fight 10 rounds, 2-minute rounds, for those of you that aren't familiar. She said that it's important for her to show equality and be on the same runway as the men. She's like, Jake is going to the moon. I'm right there on a rocket ship next to him. Equality.
Yeah, and when you look around, and we've been here throughout Fight Week, obviously, Jake versus Joshua, it is the main event, but you're seeing Alycia Baumgardner, Leila Beaudoin plastered all over the Fight Week Hotel. You see them all over Miami. Promotionally, MVP is treating it as such, as if she is strapped to that same rocket, Christina.
And rightfully so. She earned that opportunity. It was a big deal when they signed her. The announcement that they made, she went in there and beat Terry Harper. The promotion, the whole fight with Michaela Mayer, she stepped up, and I mean, like, this is the kind of stage that she's meant to be on, and for Leila too. I'm more than happy for her. Don't mistake her kindness and her, you know, her quietness and her candidness for weakness, because this is going to be a really, really solid fight in our co-main event come Friday night.
Yeah, no quietness here. Let's take a look back at a face-to-face with Baumgardner and Beaudoin.
Do you believe that she basically going to beat your ass, or do you think it's going to be a good fight?
I think it's a good thing that she thinks that.
Oh, shit.
I know it.
Okay.
I know it, actually, yeah.
So basically, hold on, we get to you, champ. I got to make sure she know. You saying she thinking that, but that's not going to happen?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. And now, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I didn't mean the last step. Now, what were you going to say to that?
It's never a think. Okay. It's never a thought. I know. There's a difference. When you know something and you're very confident in knowing what you're going to do, baby, I'm not thinking about it. I'm going to do it.
So the tension building between the bomb and Leila Beaudoin. Was that you dropping a bomb there, or proverbial bomb?
Dropping the mic. Like, what else are you going to say?
As you, I'm going to steal your line. The bomb is going to drop on Friday on Netflix. And for more on Friday's event, let's send it back up to Sibley, who's standing by with a special guest. As we take a look at LIV Nightclub, filling up here in Miami, Florida. Oh, it is. By the way, did you know, before that LIV was here, we'll drop a little historical nugget, Roberto Duran fought here at the Fontainebleau in 1973.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. That's in my boxing.
You've got the VHS at home.
Corey, that's something only you would know and bring up.
We're on Netflix now, no more VHS.
Yeah, the boxing encyclopedia that you are. Of course you knew that.
See the fans and media filing in to get a closer look at some of the biggest stars in not just boxing, but combat sports. We're going to have Anderson Silva and Tyron Woodley
still to come,
working out a little bit later on. And, of course, our live fights still coming your way. Shannon Courtenay taking on Jessica Radke Maltez. Nat Dove, MVP's own. He'll be taking on Perla Lomeli. And now, as promised, let's send it back over to Sibley.
Thank you guys so much. We're just over here rapping with the man right now, Nakisa Medeiros. How surreal is this that we are in Miami at LIV, where this is a nightclub. People put on events. You're putting on an entire showcase right now.
Shout out to David Grubman to LIV Nightclub, to Fountain Blue, our partners at Netflix. This is an incredible MVP showcase too. In July, we were at the Oculus in New York, and now where the biggest stars in the world perform. Where I've been to this nightclub many years ago in that same DJ booth, and we're putting on an event the scale of an actual fight night.
What do you do at night? Are you and Jake like rub hands like Birdman, just thinking every single day like pinky in the brain? How can you outdo what you did the last time? How does it continue to happen? It's obviously chess, not checkers, because it's a long game.
For us, it's two things. Put it to the fighters and put it to the brand. So take care of our fighters and invest in this brand to show that MVP is really the reference point for boxing and the future generations that follow this sport. That is our priority. And it's not just Jake and I, it's Bryce, it's Mitch, it's Mike, it's Rick, it's Paul, it's Todd. The list goes on and on of the many men and women at MVP that make this all possible.
And you talk about the young folks coming up right now. I was just in that ring. So we'll talk Jahmal Harvey for a second. Only his second pro fight going into this. He's an Olympian. He's got accolades like crazy. He's not on a prelim. He's on the main card. When you have a new signee for MVP, how does that come about?
For us, this was a twofold strategy. One was showing the world what MVP is all about. So we have one of the best prospects in the world in Jahmal Harvey. We have this iconic fight between Anderson Silva and Tyron Woodley, two GOATs of MMA and unbelievable fighters. Then we have Alycia Baumgardner and Leila Beaudoin doing something that's unheard of. They're increasing their fight output by almost 50%, doing 12-3 rounds. And then we have the spectacle for the world that no one ever expected. Secondly, with Jahmal, Jake's previous opponent was from the DMV, right? The DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Jahmal's from the same area. So we wanted to show you guys who the next Gervonta Davis is to come out of that zone.
It's got to feel good to see this and to know that people feel like a sense of family, a sense of safety, and a sense of my career is going to go to the next level when I can be a part of MVP. And that's what you're curating here, right? Family?
It's fighter first. That's the family. Everything we talk about is making sure we're doing right by our fighters. We don't always get it right. We're not perfect. We're only 4 years into what we're doing. And look, fighters are human beings, right? They have emotions, they have feelings, they have priorities, they have sometimes entitlement, and we have to learn how to deal with that to ultimately deliver them the best experience and give the fans what we want.
You're giving the fans what they want coming Friday night. Kaseya Center, it's going down. Obviously a stacked card. Talk to me quickly about Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua. Something we didn't expect to happen. Obviously another card was happening prior to that. But what does it mean to have this finally here for this week?
It means Jake Paul is the baddest man on the planet, whether you like it or not. No one compares. No one can even say a word about the courage this young man has. He's been calling it out since March, and we're here. It's very high risk, but guess what? It's very high reward. If he pulls this out, he is unequivocally the owner of boxing. I don't care what anybody says. Does he understand there's a lot of risk? Yes. Does he know Anthony Joshua can put him to sleep? Absolutely. But he has this sense of belief, this sense of clarity that it's his time. And don't forget, he's fought twice in December before in Florida. Do the research, see what happened in those fights.
You always have naysayers, right? There's always going to be opinions. Everybody's got one. I don't need to finish that whole line. But what is it about the relationship with you and Jake and the business that you guys continue to build where you're not listening to the outside noise? You're using that as fuel to the fire.
I just look at it like we had a vision that we thought about 4.5 years ago. And here we are in our third Netflix event a year later. Jake Paul brought boxing to Netflix. Netflix has believed in us to put on these monstrous events. Boxing is more alive than it's ever been. We just had the biggest event in boxing history since the days of Muhammad Ali, brought to you by MVP. So I hear all these guys chirping about boxing's in a bad place. Boxing needs us to come and save it. They're just chirpers. And we don't chirp, we do, we deliver. And they follow us. They followed us to Netflix, and they're following us across the pond.
So basically we just cut the interview there, right? Because it is what it is.
Chirp, chirp.
You heard it, Alycia Baumgardner. Thank you for your time, as always. Congratulations on this. We're all happy to be here in Miami. We're here at LIV. Let's continue going on with the open workouts, and we got some more fights on the way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sibley. And Nakisa Badarian getting you set for a Friday night. And our co-feature, Alycia Baumgardner, Leila Beaudoin, the unified super featherweight world championship on the line. And as Christina pointed out, fighting men's rules, 12 3-minute rounds. You can watch it live on Netflix, 8 p.m. Eastern time this Friday. And now we're going to take a closer look at Leila Beaudoin.
I've been working with Rose, who's actually in Nick's corners. She's from Australia. We've been doing visualization, breath work, and all these kind of stuff. It really helped me throughout this camp. I knew it was going to be busy. We had a little taste of it in September, so I knew what to expect. But also, like you guys have seen, I'm really calm and collected, but that's how I am in life. I can be excited at some moments, of course, but I'm not the type of person that's going to give my energy if there's nothing to take from it. Like, I want to give my energy to people that are going to give me their energy back. So yeah, that's why I try to be calm and collected and cold.
Leila Beaudoin, the latest star to come out of the Canadian boxing scene after turning pro at the age of 23. An eye-opening win last time out against Ella Mekaledi, a long-time stalwart contender on the Mbili Sulecki undercard in June of this year to stamp her ticket for her very first world title fight. And quite frankly, they don't get much bigger than this one, taking that rocket ship, to use that metaphor again, all the way to the top in this fight. And we are going to see Leila Beaudoin in the ring in just a moment. To make that happen, we're going to hand it back to Big Mo.
Moving right along, ladies and gentlemen, from LIV Nightclub here in Miami Beach, Florida. Our next fighter for the MVP Showcase 2, doing her open workout on Friday night. She is one half of our co-main event, and she is challenging for the unified super featherweight championships of the world and competing in 12 3-minute rounds. Introducing from Levis, Quebec, Canada, ladies and gentlemen, Leila Beaudoin.
Here comes Leila Beaudoin, just days away from the biggest opportunity of her young career, flanked by her trainer, Sam Dekari. And Beaudoin, as we mentioned, has come out of a boxing factory, let's say, in the province of Quebec that has produced so many stars over the last couple of decades, but in particular in the women's ranks. You think of MVP Zone Tamara Thibault, and then names like Carolyn Vare and Kim Clavel, another member of the MVP stable who won a world championship back home in Quebec. And Leila Beaudoin, obviously very familiar with all of them and all those high-level athletes. Christina, as you know, you get in that ecosystem, they all work with one another and they all make one another better.
And that's what she attributes a lot of her growth to, is like how they've been able to work on the inside, the people that, the campmates that she has shared time with, sparring partners, etc. And can I just take a minute for the music really quick? She came walking out to Tupac, which completely surprised me. You talked about the greats from Canada. No Drake. She didn't come out to Drake.
That is
she
true.
Came out to Tupac from Cali. I'm like, I am loving this, because I mean, we are in LIV Nightclub. It is a workout.
Of course.
That's how you come out and put on for your open workout for your first world title fight. But yes, she visualizes everything. She's really big on like meditation and mentally preparing herself for this moment, more so than physically. But when she dropped Mekaledi 3 times in that last fight, like, what a phenomenal performance to continue to ride that momentum and set the stage for this fight.
And again, it was just a couple of years ago when Beaudoin talked about how much she was struggling mentally, but also financially too during the pandemic. She tries to stay busy, goes to Cuernavaca, Mexico in 2021 and unexpectedly loses a fight. And then I think even the Canadian boxing scene started to doubt whether Beaudoin, who was a national amateur champion, had so much promise, could actually fulfill that promise. But Beaudoin, as you mentioned, so mentally strong, rebuilt herself, and is coming into this fight off the best performance of her career.
Yeah, and then got an opportunity to avenge that loss too, right? In the rematch, and beat her then too. But I mean, coming up, the opportunities that she's had, the setbacks, the mental struggles, the personal battles, you know, that she's went through to get herself built back up, and in an opportunity like this, I mean, even she'll tell you, this is an opportunity of a lifetime for me, and I just visualize myself hearing "and the new" Friday night, like most fighters do, right? They play it over in their head, they go to sleep to it, they wake up to it, etc.
Well, Leila Beaudoin apparently plays a lot of Tupac in her head as well.
I don't know if she's requested these songs or the DJ's just doing his thing right now, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
See Beaudoin's trainer, Samuel
and
Dakari.
she's got the Kobe's on. Hold on a second. If we could get an ISO on the shoes. She's got Kobe's on too. Yes, those right there. Actually have those, but they're not the high top boxing shoes.
Listen,
they're sick.
I know personally, it is very hard to upstage the sneaker game of her trainer, Sam Dakari, who seems to have all of the hottest runners and training shoes every single time I see him.
What about your new shoes tonight, Corey? The New Balances are making their Netflix debut.
But nonetheless, Beaudoin has managed to upstage her trainer here tonight. One of the young training stars in the sport of boxing. Such a wonderful partnership they seem to have.
And I think it's great. I mean, she's there really putting in some work, getting a light sweat. You know, she didn't come here just to play around. I think that she's been all business all week long, everything that I've seen of her. And even right now, like, look at the look in her eye, Corey. She's taking this video workout, this open workout very seriously.
Yeah, and perhaps for someone like Beaudoin, who again gets a lot of media attention back home in Canada, especially in Quebec, where there are still beat writers for boxing. It's incredible how popular boxing is in Quebec. But this is obviously a much bigger stage. But perhaps having that postponement, getting that first run of media attention and what it's like to do the press conferences, do all of that, I think has probably helped fighters like Beaudoin who haven't been here before.
That's an excellent point. And, you know, when talking about not being here before, her and Alycia both on the same playing field as far as the 12-round, 3-minute rounds. It's new for both of them. You know, she's like, not an advantage for Alycia or for me. We're both in the same boat. We both haven't gone those rounds. We've been able to do it in sparring. Obviously, in a live fight is different. But she's increased her punch output. She's increased the rounds of sparring. And I think all that's going to pay dividends for her come Friday night. And there's a smile.
We'll see how this one shakes out stylistically on Friday. I mean, my best guess is that Beaudoin is going to try to be busier than Alycia Baumgardner, who is judicious in her punch output, but what she does throw, as her nickname would suggest, when Baumgardner does throw, she throws bombs.
Yes, she does, but that would be an excellent game plan, right? Get to work busy early, set the tone. They have her in great condition. You know what I mean? I just think that will be to her advantage, to not let the pace go the way Alycia wants it to go. Alycia is in fantastic shape. There's no doubt about it. But I wouldn't say her last performance was her best performance for Alycia. Opposite Leila, right? She's building that momentum. Miranda made Alycia...
she made her work in every round.
Yeah, she made her work. Fair. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So I think that Leila's got to do the same and then some.
And I think, as always, some of maybe the reaction to that fight had something to do with the unfamiliarity, especially that the Western fan base had with Jennifer Miranda. I think there was a lot of, oh wow, she's overachieving in this fight, which doesn't always mean that the A side or the favored fighter is in any way struggling. I think Baumgardner still had a very good night. Jennifer Miranda just had an admirable memorable night as well.
Absolutely, and I think that Alycia would say, you know, the layoff and things like that affected her early, but, you know, Miranda didn't get the memo. She made it a very tough fight, and sometimes that happens when Spaniards come over. But a la, you know, Teofimo Lopez, and you know, that whole situation, it's like you're used to seeing the bigger names, the people that, especially here in the U.S. and the boxing fans watching on Netflix. But every once in a while, you get a foreigner that comes in there and surprises you. And it's not that they weren't that good. It's just you just haven't been exposed to them in that way.
Leila Beaudoin hoping that it's another one of those situations for her. You see some power shots.
Yes.
Beaudoin uncorking here.
And strong legs, too. I mean, she matches up physically, like size-wise, really well with Alycia Baumgardner. Like, she's strong legs.
Beaudoin, a former high-level skier
Let's
before she started.
I led you right to it, Corey.
I think that
led you right to it.
That may have something to do with the leg development pre-boxing as well. Beaudoin is going to need plenty of energy in those legs for the 12 3-minute rounds. Coming her way on Friday as she takes on the bomb, Alycia Baumgardner. All right, we are ready to hear from Leila Beaudoin, who is standing by with Sibley.
Okay, listen. Before we get into the boxing, talk to me about Pac for a second, because I was over there lipping the entire thing. What is the influence with that music?
I just love hip-hop. I love moving on that music, and usually I don't train with music when the boxing gym is quiet, but right now I've been enjoying it, yeah.
I can see the smile on your face. You just put on a show for everyone here at LIV. First of all, to see the lights and everything happening for this showcase too, what does that mean to you to be out here in Miami and to know what you're going to do in that ring on Friday?
It's just a dream come true. I'm so grateful to be here. I feel like this is my moment. This is where I belong. Can't wait to show it on Friday night.
Now, you started boxing at 18, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people that are in boxing, a lot of kids, they start when they're very young. Do you think, though, starting at 18 was an advantage for you, like being at that age, knowing who you are a little bit more and just getting right into it?
I don't know. I was always an athlete in other division, other sports. I felt like my other sports brought me the discipline a little bit, and I gained it even more with the age. But when I fell on boxing, it just felt like this was made for me. Yeah.
Okay, the bomb, Alycia Baumgardner, is going with you on Friday. What can we expect in that fight? I know you're hungry. I know you want it. So what's going to happen? What can we expect?
I'm not big on prediction. I prefer to let my fists talk. So you guys will have to tune in Friday, December 19.
That's a good way to lead to Friday. Miami, who's in LIV right now and saw these punches being thrown? Y'all can be loud. We're live. Does it feel good to have these moments and to know that Friday you're going to make a splash when you get out there?
Of course. It feels, I feel the best I could ever feel, I think. Yeah.
What goes through your mind before? Do you have anything pre-fights? Is there anything that you do special before you get into that ring?
I go day by day, so I live each day, every second, every minute, so I don't go too far. But I like enjoying time with my team. They're precious to me. We have a good laugh, and we just try to chill everything out. Like, you know, everything's smooth.
To the fans watching, what do you want to say?
Tune in Friday, December 19 on Netflix.
And can we say your name together so I don't mess it up?
Leila.
No, I know Leila.
Beaudoin.
See, did I say it? Yes, girl. Come on, I can barely do English, so that was great for me. All right, everyone, give it up. Leila Beaudoin.
Thank you so much, Sibley. And I'll step in for the Quebec audience as well. Didn't get a said regardez vendredi. Tune in on Friday. Leila Beaudoin taking on the bomb, Alycia Baumgardner, the unified super featherweight world title on the line. And again, being contested over 12 3-minute rounds. The co-feature live on Netflix this Friday. It is Judgment Day live on Netflix. And live from the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida, it is Jake versus Joshua. The unthinkable is happening. Jake Paul taking on one of the best heavyweights of this generation, a surefire future Hall of Famer, Anthony Joshua. That's live on Netflix this Friday. And we are ready for our first live action of the night. It is the former world champion, Shannon Courtenay, taking on Jessica Radke Maltez. You see the tail of the tape. Radke Maltez enjoying a height and reach advantage here tonight. And we are ready to get the action underway as we send it back up to Big Mo.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, we arrive at our first live professional bout right here inside LIV Nightclub. This contest is scheduled for 6 2-minute rounds in the bantamweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, making her way to the ring, please welcome Jessica Radke Maltez.
For this fight just 15 days ago, as the 40-year-old Jessica Radke Maltez, a multi-time participant in the U.S. National Amateur Tournament, making a go at it in her pro career, now 2-2-2, balancing her pro boxing career with her other career as a full-time veterinarian. And she's going to have an animal in front of her in the pressure-fighting Shannon Courtenay, who will be heading to the ring in just a few moments.
And now her opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, please welcome to the ring, Shannon Courtenay.
The former WBA World Bantamweight Champion Shannon Courtenay is on the comeback trail and now a member of the MVP Most Valuable Promotions family. She's coming off a 6-round unanimous decision win over the legendary journeywoman Beck Kennelly in March of this year. And Courtenay is now back in the world rankings, looking to continue her winning ways here tonight to set up even bigger fights in the near future.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, live from LIV Nightclub and live around the world on MVP and Netflix's YouTube channels. This and all bouts are sanctioned by the Florida State Athletic Commission and are promoted by Jake Paul and Nikisa Medeiros' Most Valuable Promotions. This contest is scheduled for 6 2-minute rounds in the bantamweight division. Our 3 judges scoring this bout at ringside: Richard Green Jr., Daniel Fitzgerald, and Manuel Marquez Jr. And our referee in charge when the bell rings is Alicia Collins. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 2 warriors, 1 fight. Who wants it more? Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white trunks with blue trim. She stands 5 feet 7 inches tall. She weighed in at 117.6 pounds. Tonight, she enters the ring with an even professional record of 2 victories, opposite 2 defeats, and 2 draws. Fighting out of Waconia, Minnesota, introducing Jessica Radke Maltez. And now her opponent, standing across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the blue trunks with silver trim. She stands 5 feet 5 inches tall. She weighed in at 115.6 pounds. Tonight, she enters the ring with a professional record of 9 victories, opposite 3 defeats, with 3 of those wins coming by way of knockout. And she fights out of Watford, England, introducing the former WBA Bantamweight Champion of the World and making her MVP debut, ladies and gentlemen, Shannon, the babyface assassin, Courtenay.
belt line is hearing up, and yours is hearing up and good. Go ahead and touch them up.
We are set to go. Our first live contest of the evening from here at LIV Nightclub in Miami, Florida. Shannon Courtenay taking on Jessica Maltez. Corey Erdman and Christina Poncher on the call here with you. And we are underway. A fight has officially broken out in the club. 6 2-minute rounds, Courtenay and Maltez. As mentioned, Courtenay has re-entered the world rankings at bantamweight. And she says that despite some of the inactivity, which is owed to both injury and struggles with her mental health, which we'll get into a little bit later, that Christina, we should not expect a different version of her in the ring. Maybe a little bit smarter, but still as aggressive.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she was, relatively short notice she was given for this fight, about 5 weeks, but she had a feeling when AJ was put on the card against Jake Paul, they're both from Watford, that she was going to get that opportunity, get that call, new signing with MVP, but she's been staying in the gym. She was sparring already, and I think this is like the next chapter for her. It begins tonight, and I'm excited to see what the babyface assassin has to offer.
2 big counter left hooks there from Shannon Courtenay.
Nice right hand.
Yeah, good right hand over the top there from Courtenay. And this is some of what she was talking about. The pressure is still there, but some added intelligence as you see her rolling underneath Maltez's lead hand, just like she told us she would be.
Maltez has got to get her head off the line. She is standing there getting caught with hooks that are coming, all the way from left field. I see her keeping that right hand up by her chin, but Courtenay's using that experience and just landing at will like she does again. There with the left, then comes right back with the right, then down to the body. It's just, it's all Courtenay here to start this fight.
Yes, it's the right hand of Shannon Courtenay that's glued to the chin of Maltez right now.
Yeah.
Oh, there's again. Another one again. Scraping Maltez, who's trying to ride with these shots, but still getting rocked back by the power of Shannon Courtenay, who is on a roll here in the opening round.
Talked about the right hand. She misses there, but then she comes around that same right hand that Radcliffe keeps clinched underneath her chin and gets caught with that left twice. And, if she's going to keep that hand, and that lead hand's got to come up a little bit higher. Just sitting too low, just getting caught with the same hooks time and time again there in that first round. And we're definitely in a club. I can barely hear myself talking to you, Corey.
This is BB Rexa. I'm sure you're familiar. Okay.
I am familiar. I'm still a little more familiar with Tupac, but BB Rexa will do.
Yes. Round 2 underway. Shannon Courtenay off to a hot start here against Jessica Maltez. 2 completely opposite styles here. Shannon Courtenay, the all-out aggressor. Jessica Maltez trying to tuck behind that shoulder roll, but Shannon Courtenay has been able to pierce that defense, at least in the opening 2 minutes of this contest.
Double jab to set up that nice right hand again for Courtenay. And I think Maltez, she started the round with a couple of jabs, actually 4 of them to start. There she gets back on the double jab, but she's got to be confident in letting that rear hand go. She's keeping it there more defensively sound, but if you're not going to use it very effectively for defense, you might as well let it go offensively.
Yeah, and she is doing so with a little more authority here in this round. There's a good jab that connects from Maltez. She tries to roll with that right hand of Shannon Courtenay.
We talked about the short notice though for Courtenay, 5 weeks. I didn't even mention the if that's short. What was it for Radcliffe?
It was 15 days.
15 days.
15 days.
15 days notice.
Nice body shot there from Maltez. Listen, Christina, this might not be a round that Radke Maltez is winning, but there have been some adjustments that she's made here in round 2.
Yeah, she talked about wanting to implement some feints. She was able to do that there. So we're seeing kind of that jab step feint with that lead left foot from the orthodox stance. She got a body shot in there, and then Courtenay gives her right back. But she's warming up a little bit more.
Final 15 seconds here of round 2. Nice right hand to the body again there from Radke Maltez. Much busier round for the heavy underdog here in Miami.
And remember, that left hand. So you got to okay?
And when she set her right hand up and let it go off the jab, she actually landed it there, Corey. That was a good shot for Radke Maltez. The problem is she's just not letting it go enough, in my opinion.
So a better round there for Jessica Radke Maltez, or we should say Dr. Radke Maltez, as we mentioned, a practicing veterinarian outside of boxing, took a little time away from the sport between the end of her amateur career and the start of her pro career as she had children, got into marathon running, but always felt like there was something missing when she was away from the sport. And now taking a big risk here tonight. Credit to her for stepping up and taking this opportunity against Shannon Courtenay.
For sure. Her and her team felt like, even though it was extremely short notice, good right hand there, that she, felt like she had the skills to be able to beat her. She's had a very busy year. This is the fourth fight in 2025. And, I just feel like Courtenay's doing more. She's landing effective hooks like that. And she's winning this fight so far clearly. But at least momentum has picked up a little bit more here for Radke Maltez.
Courtenay, as we've alluded to, trying to make a case for big fights in the future. Of course, she would love a rematch against Ebony Bridges, who's now a part of the MVP stable as well. And they feel like that's a fight that Christina is inevitable at some point.
Oh, yeah. She was emphatic when she said that fight has to happen. Like, I wrote "has" in capital letters because that's how much her face kind of lit up. And you could tell when she said that. She said, and I'll, quote, beat her up again.
Nice right hand over the top there from Shannon Courtenay as Radke Maltez tries to get her lick back, and she does. Nice long range, straight right hand there from Radke Maltez. Nice right hand again for Radke Maltez. But Courtenay just keeping up that nonstop pressure. Yes. Final 10 seconds. Here of round 3. Jessica Radke Maltez not looking out of place here tonight against the former world champion.
No, not at all. I give her a lot of credit. And I actually think seeing her style up close, she's one of those fighters that would actually benefit from the 3-minute rounds too, the way that she fights. Since that's been a topic of conversation with this fight card with Leila Beaudoin and Alycia Baumgardner fighting 3-minute rounds. And no seat on the stool between rounds either for the marathon runner. And again, that right hand has found a home all night long for Shannon Courtenay. But Maltez finding her spots. We've got a good counterpuncher there, right on cue. That right hand over the low lead hand for Courtenay. And that's what I'm saying. A little bit more time in these rounds to work, I think, would favor a style like hers.
But of course, as an experienced marathon runner, we would assume she has the gas tank to do something like that, too. She's not even sitting down.
The amount of miles that she ran, Corey? What is it, like 30?
Well,
not in training camp, but when she tones it down?
Yeah, as round 4 begins, of course, Radke Maltez, normally as a marathon runner, she does her Sunday long run, right, which is usually 15-plus miles. Now she has to cap it at 6, or else she'd be too worn out.
Me too.
We're back to action here. Shannon Courtenay looking to stay in the win column here. Again, it was just 2 fights ago where she was in somewhat of a similar situation against Catherine Ramos, who was stunningly upset, but we had a chance to sit down with Shannon, and she described just a different point in her life that she's at right now. She feels like an entirely different person than she was even a year and a half ago.
Well, like going through an injury, like an ACL injury that she did, was so mentally taxing. She said she was just the kind of person that her phone used to ring off the hook, inviting her here, inviting her to that party, doing all these things. And then when she got hurt and took that time out, she said her phone never rang. Nobody called to check on her. Nobody was inviting her out. You know, like, that was a really, really hard time in her life. And, you know, she seems like she's in a way better place now. She was very, transparent with you in that fighter meeting.
Well, these are really hard right hands that are landing from Shannon Courtenay right now. There have been about 4 or 5 in the last 15, 20 seconds or so, and Radke Maltez, at least a moment ago, looked like she might have been a little buzzed by one of those shots. 30 seconds remaining, and here in round 4, you see some of the marks on the face of Radke Maltez. Jab to the body there from Courtenay.
Yeah, I like how she changed levels on that jab. Yeah, she almost walked into that right hand. Yeah.
10 seconds remaining here in round 4. Again, this one's scheduled for 6 as Courtenay sends another rocket of a right hand over the top. And that'll do it for this frame.
Beautiful job taking the hook downstairs to the body after she's landed it at will the majority of the fight. And you can tell that shot bothered Maltez a little bit. And then she delivered a straight right hand to follow. What a beautiful shot there. But, I mean, Courtenay showing her chin, too. She took that flush and kept coming forward. And I actually like the activity level and the output for Shannon Courtenay back at 118, too. We didn't talk about that, but, that's the weight where she missed her, where she lost her world title on the scale for missing weight at 118. She's back down at that bantamweight limit for the first time since 2021. And Corey, I think that, she looks really good in terms of her output and her performance. She must have cut weight really well.
Yeah, to your point, as round 5 begins, this is the first time that Courtenay has made the bantamweight limit in about 4 years. Again, that odyssey, that 4-year time period. There's the ACL injury. It postpones that Jamie Mitchell fight. Then it happens, and she loses the title on the scale. And then you have this sort of 2-year time period where she can't quite recover from that injury. She's thinking about whether she can come back or not. The mental health problems start to arise. Shannon Courtenay really had to dig herself out of a hole. And you can see on her trunks here tonight, she's become the very first ambassador for the UK Suicide Awareness Hotline. So Courtenay using her platform to speak about some of the issues that she went through herself.
Yeah, she was in a really dark place, and she just said she felt like what she was projecting on the outside was not really who she was or what she was feeling on the inside. She was putting on a front, the reality show stuff, etc., the partying. But she said, I really just want to be the type of girl that sit at home, kind of be a homebody and have a cup of tea with my mom. Yeah. Like, that's really who I am inside. And I think that, once she shed those layers, going through a devastating injury like an ACL and having to sit on the sidelines really makes you reflect. And I feel like that's what that injury caused her to do.
Good left hand to the body a moment ago there from Courtenay, who just missed with one up top as she's trying to bait Radke Maltez in here. Ooh. Radke Maltez trying to resist taking the bait, but it was a little bit too tempting, and Courtenay walked her into something big and now is walking her back with big left hooks and a right hand down the pipe.
Yeah, loading up on these shots a bit, right? But I do like that she's sitting down on the shots a little bit here on the 5th round.
See a meaner look on the face of Shannon Courtenay as she stalks Jessica Radke Maltez. We've got 1 to go in what has turned out to be a really good opening contest.
This is the last and final round.
Sixth and final round of what has been a really entertaining opener between Shannon Courtenay and Jessica Radke Maltez. As Courtenay told us earlier this week, she's never in boring fights, and tonight is certainly no exception. Credit to Jessica Radke Maltez. Again, this is a woman whose last 4 opponents, 3 of them have been in their pro debut. To step up from that to a former world champion in Courtenay, who's on the cusp of very big fights, is a really admirable step up.
She definitely did not shy away from stepping up to the moment. 15 days notice. Surprised because of the magnitude of the stage that she was asked to be on. But you know what? She's like, I've had a busy year. I really feel like this is an opportunity to go in there. And she really, and her team felt like she could really win this fight. I don't think that that's going to play out on the cards this way. There's still a little over a minute left to go. I think tonight belongs to Shannon Courtenay, but still, what a great showing for her. And I think that she's going to continue to get opportunities like this because she's game on 2 weeks' notice.
Good combinations here from Shannon Courtenay, who's putting it all together here in the 6th round. "45 seconds remaining in this contest. Curious to see if Radke Maltez, of course, depending on what she and her corner think the scorecards look like, will she go for something big here in the final 30 seconds? She looked for that chopping right hand there a moment ago. Courtenay already teasing the bolo punch, starting the celebration early here in the 6th round.
Well, she did say clever aggression was part of the game plan, so we'll add that to the clever part.
And a good counter left hook there from Courtenay, and brings another one behind it.
Yeah, those hooks have been beautiful tonight.
Nice defense from Courtenay in the closing moments, and that will do it. What a way to kick things off here at LIV Nightclub. An exciting night for Shannon Courtenay. And Christina, I also think this is a valuable outing for Courtenay if she is going to take that big step up next time out. Of course, you get that win over a journeywoman last time out, but tonight she had a fighter in front of her as we take a look back at the full fight highlights who was here to win.
No doubt about it. Jessica Radke Maltez, I salute to you. You're 40 years old, you're a veterinarian, you're a mother, you're a wife. You weren't coming off the couch by any means. I know you stay in the gym and you stay focused and you were sparring and everything like that, and you really brought it tonight. But I just think that Shannon Courtenay did more. She landed her hooks both right and left, as you're seeing them right here on the replay. Headhunted a bit. Maybe I would have liked to see her go down to the body a little bit more than I did tonight. Something she'll probably look back at the tape and wishes that she did. But a pretty complete performance tonight in her U.S. debut.
All right, looks like we are ready to make this one official as we send it back up to Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 full rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards at ringside. Judge Richard Green and Judge Manuel Marquez sees it 60-54, while Judge Daniel Fitzgerald sees it 58-56. Declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Shannon, the babyface assassin, Courtenay.
So Shannon Courtenay victorious in our opening contest, the 10th win of her professional career. A good effort from Jessica Radke Maltez here tonight. You heard one of the judges gave her a couple rounds as well. But it is Courtenay who is victorious once again, and she's standing by with Sibley.
Oh, I'm right here. LIV, give it up for your winner, Shannon Courtenay! Handling business in the ring and MVP signee. How does it feel to be back here?
Listen, it's been a long time coming. I've gone through hell and back to get here. That was a scrappy fight. I'm not going to say it was a clinical performance because it wasn't. She was awkward. She was tall. But get the win by any means necessary, and I've officially landed in America.
Ooh, say it one more time for the people.
I've landed in America, MVP style.
That's how you do it. Let's elaborate on that MVP style. Obviously, we got Mike Leonardi back there. We've got Nikisa Badarian. Jake is coming out here soon. He's on that main card. To have these moments, you said that you signed with them because of the platform, because of women's boxing and what they do and the support. How supported do you feel, and how great does it feel to be here right now in Miami?
It feels amazing to have these guys backing me. When I was a world champion, my phone didn't stop ringing. Everyone loved me. And I couldn't go out, and then I lost the fight, and everyone disappeared. And now I've got people behind me that actually believe in me, and I've got belief again in myself.
When you have those moments, how do you continue, knowing that you have them behind you now, but how do you keep going just as yourself as an athlete to push past any negativity or anything when the phone stopped ringing?
Because I've survived more than anyone could go through, and I'm still here. I'm proof that you can beat mental health, you can beat anything, and when I become a 2-time world champion, I'm going to show everyone that you can come back from the depths of the earth.
Does it feel like a really crazy moment, too? I know that, you know, Anthony Joshua, I saw your post, friends, you're like, before I signed with MVP, I didn't know that this was all going to happen. When moments like that occur in your life, this is a big one, does it feel like this is just where you're meant to be and this is how it's supposed to be played out?
Yeah, so I knew Josh before either of us boxed, and then yesterday we was in the hallway chatting, and he just looked at me and went, "This is crazy, we've come from Watford to Miami," and I was like, yeah, how are we here?
You're here because of who you are. Miami, make some noise! Shannon, Courtenay! Congratulations.
So Shannon, Courtenay, victorious here tonight, victorious in life as well. Just an incredible story of perseverance when it comes to mental health, when it comes to addiction, when it comes to battling through injury, self-identity. Shannon Courtenay has been so open with us, and it's exciting to see her show what she feels is her true personality now, that she can feel that comfort level.
I feel like she can breathe again.
Right.
She took a deep breath. She said, "I'm back." She seems very confident. She fought her game plan tonight. She wanted to have clever aggression. She wanted to keep her foot on the gas. She knew she was going to fight a taller opponent, which wasn't extremely comfortable for her. She handled that very well. So my hat's off to her, and I look forward to seeing what MVP has planned for her journey.
I imagine she's going to be watching that Cherneka Johnson fight pretty closely.
No doubt about it. Just because she fought tonight doesn't mean she's on a plane back home tomorrow. She's going to be sitting at this press conference likely tomorrow, and then at the weigh-in and ringside doing her homework, no doubt.
Once again, you can tune into the press conference tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Every fighter is going to be there.
Yes.
Sharing a piece of their mind. And as we mentioned, you don't want to miss a Jake Paul press conference. They are not quite as exciting as Fight Night, but they are quite entertaining. We're going to hear from Jake, from Joshua, from everyone on Friday's mega event, which will be live on Netflix. But tonight, we march on with our second live contest of the evening. Another world-rated contender, another one of MVP's own. And Nat Dove will be taking on Perla Lomeli. You see the tail of the tape. Look at the reach advantage that Lomeli will enjoy here tonight, towering over the hard-charging Nat Dove. Can't wait for this one. We are ready to meet the fighters as we hand it back to Big Mo.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, moving right along with MVP Showcase 2, live from LIV Nightclub here in Miami Beach, Florida. We arrive at our next professional bout, scheduled for 6 2-minute rounds in the bantamweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, making her way to the ring. Please welcome Perla Lomeli.
Well, here comes Mexicali, Mexico's Perla Lomeli, who is very familiar with this type of opportunity and this exact situation. Last summer, she found herself facing a former champion, taking on Maureen Shea. She was the underdog, and she scored an upset win on the scorecards. This is one of those women's fighters, Christina, who takes only tough assignments, and that doesn't change here tonight.
I mean, Perla's record does not define the type of fighter that she is and what you're going to see tonight. I am obviously very impressed with Nat Dove, and you'll hear more about that later, but as impressed with Perla Lomeli and the challenges that she's taken on in a very close fight in her last fight against Roxy, right? Hook Roxy Verduzco. I'm really excited to see her in person myself tonight.
And her opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, making her way down the ramp to the ring. Please welcome Nat Dove.
Oh, here comes Nat No Love Dove, fresh off that 5th round stoppage victory over Randy Lynn Morales in August of last year. She finds herself inside the top 10 in one of the sanctioning body rankings, and she feels that there could be about an 18-month timeline wherein we see her in a world title fight. And what a stage to make a statement on here tonight as part of Jake versus Joshua Fight Week. Nat No Love Dove back in action against another tough competitor in Perla Lomeli.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, this next contest is brought to you and promoted by Jake Paul and Alycia Baumgardner's Most Valuable Promotions. It is scheduled for 6 2-minute rounds in the bantamweight division. Our 3 judges scoring this bout at ringside: Manuel Marquez Jr., Rourke Young, and Richard Green Jr. And our referee in charge when the bell rings is Alicia Collins. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 2 warriors, 1 fight. Who wants it more? Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red trunks with gold trim. She stands 5 feet 4 1/2 inches tall. She weighed in at 118.2 pounds. Tonight, she enters the ring with a professional record of 7 victories, opposite 6 defeats, with one of those wins coming by way of knockout. And she fights out of Mexicali, Mexico. Damas y caballeros, presentando Perla Lomeli. And now her opponent standing across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the red trunks with black and white trim. She stands 5 feet 4 1/2 inches tall. She weighed in at 118.8 pounds. Tonight, she enters the ring undefeated as a professional. 6 victories, opposite no defeats, and 1 draw, with 2 of those wins coming by way of knockout. And she fights out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA. Introducing the 15-time amateur national champion and MVP's own Nat No Love Dove.
All right, ladies, you have your instructions in the dressing rooms. Obey my commands, protect yourself at all times. Your trunks are good here and up, and you are good here and up. Go ahead, touch them up, ladies.
Time for our second fight of the night. Nat No Love Dove, the former Team USA member, now world ranked, taking on Perla Lomeli, who's looking to score another major upset here tonight. And we are underway, round 1. Of course, 2-minute rounds once again. You see already the activity, the hand speed of Nat No Love Dove. But Perla Lomeli on the other side of the ring is certainly not lacking in confidence.
No, not at all. And even though she's coming off back-to-back losses, I mean, most of her opponents that she's fought are undefeated opponents. So other than one opponent that had 20-something losses and 20-something wins, I mean, she has really stepped up to the plate. And she's going to have to do that again against the standout amateur and now making her name as a solid professional, Nat No Love Dove.
Big right hand came over the top from Dove. That one blocked by the lead hand of Perla Lomeli. But there's the right hand. It finds a home. Lomeli. Listen, Lomeli has that thing in her where she wants to fire back. The moment she gets touched, Christina, she's letting her hands go.
And yes, Corey, she will fight fire with fire. She'll take one to get hers off as well, as you saw her shoot her quick jab through the guard there of Nat Dove as well. She had 8 weeks to prepare for this fight. She takes that jab down to the body, and she knows the type of caliber that she's up against. She's up for the challenge.
Of course, we saw Perla Lomeli against MVP's Crystal Rosado last year as well, and that was one of those fights, we see them all the time, might have looked wide on the scorecards, but it was one of those fights where Lomeli was in every single round, and she is giving No Love Dove a true test here in round 1.
This is a really good start for her too, and that last performance from Nat Dove, I thought she looked really good in that fight. But right now, Lomeli, I feel like is off to a solid start too. This is a hard round to score. I mean, look at them.
These long winging punches from Perla Lomeli, keeping that No Love Dove at the end of her range, particularly at the end of the round.
And feeling the moment as she dances back to the corner, La Princesa Perla Lomeli. And now into the Nat Dove corner.
Recupérate y concéntrate. La pelea está ganable, como dijimos. Pero no quiero que te confíes bajando las manos y te entren golpes que no te deben de entrar. Concentrada. Concentrada. Además, acuérdate, estamos...
Hard jab. She's waiting to counter every shot. So pull out with a feint. Give her something to look at.
Mañala al hígado. Jab arriba, jab abajo, derecha arriba. Le entra. Okay. Como vimos, su derecha es la buena. Cuídate de eso. Okay. Agua. Vamos, sigue trabajando.
Give her something to look at. Pop on. Don't just show it.
Perla's coach wants her, to use her jab, to change levels on her jab, take it up top and down to the body. Use it to set up the right hand as she starts, exactly with the instructions like her corner told her, taking that jab to the body.
It's round 2 underway. Again, 6 2-minute rounds. So things move fast, and adjustments have to happen quickly as well, like that. A nice right hand over the top from Nat Dove. And that may be the antidote, Christina, to what Lomeli has been doing so well, which is being able to land to the body from long range. But Dove there is able to take a slight step in and bring that right hand over the top.
Especially when she doubles up on that jab. Works her way in, shooting a strong jab like she just did right there, taking a quick step to the right.
At least in the opening 40 seconds or so, Nat Dove making instant corrections here in round 2.
Yeah, I don't think she needs to fight Lomeli on the inside. I don't feel like right now that's her strong choice. She stays a little bit more at range and then can answer like that.
Dove moving that lead hand, the jab around as Lomeli tries to reach the body of Dove, but there's a body shot from Dove.
Yeah.
The eye-catching shot there, the uppercut to the body. And Lomeli just missed with an uppercut during the break. Luckily for Dove, that right hand sailed past her face.
And Dove's got a welt there on the top of her forehead. Corey, as these two take it to the canvas.
Yeah, that could have only come from a clash of heads or an elbow. But that is quite the hematoma that is developing on the forehead of Nat No Love Dove. It's not Hasim Rahman-esque yet, but it is growing and quickly.
As Lomeli once again dances into the corner, and if she told us that she wanted to be more relaxed and not so tense, I mean, mission accomplished. She looks very relaxed in there. We are at LIV, right, after all? We are at a nightclub.
As we take a look back at some of the action from the previous round.
You can see where their heads came together right there as Lomeli leaned forward as well. The way Lomeli's leaning into those punches, Nat Dove nearly missed a devastating uppercut earlier. Something to keep an eye on as we march forward in this fight.
When she goes, you gotta go.
Tercer round, que tires golpes.
Third round.
Round 3 underway. Nat Dove and Perla Lomeli, 6 rounds in the bantamweight division. Excuse me, the super flyweight division. Down at 115. See that active lead hand of Nat Dove. What you gotta like about Dove here, Christina, is just the way that she's able to vary what she does with that jab as well.
Yeah, I mean, not every jab you throw necessarily has to be to connect or has to be hard, right? It could be set up the right hand, get your timing, keep your opponent thinking, etc. And right now, the pace has slowed down a bit here for Perla, not throwing as many punches as she did the first 2 rounds. And Nat knew that she was going to be aggressive in spurts. She just had to weather those storms and continue to stay on, her game plan, which is hit and move.
A couple good body shots connecting here from Perla Lomeli.
Nice count.
Yeah, sneaky uppercut there from Nat Dove, just slipping to the inside to land that uppercut. A good pot shot right hand as well. Just a correction from earlier. This is a bantamweight fight. A deal was made, a step up from 115, so this is being made at 118. As we're inside the final 30 seconds of round 3, and Perla Lomeli trying to turn it on in the closing moments, but you see that smile of confidence from Nat Dove.
As Nat Dove just landed 2 solid shots, one to the body with the right hand, then back up top. Didn't seem to phase Perla much, but her activity level definitely has slowed down. This is a much clearer round for Nat. You agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
Necesitamos más golpes porque le van a dar la pelea a ella. Ya sabemos, entonces hay que hacerlo. No, te estoy diciendo que tienes que tirar más golpes.
I'm telling you that.
Si la conectas, como no la llegas a conectar, vuelve a la combinación. Quiero 2 combinaciones. No quiero que te vayas para atrás. Si te vas para atrás, vete lejos.
I don't want you to go away.
Quiero que hagas el esfuerzo. Vamos a
So perhaps the best round of the fight there for Nat No Love Dove. As we were listening into the corner of Perla Lomeli.
Well, yeah, you got to throw punches, and Perla didn't throw that many punches that round. She kind of gave that round away, and with the first 2 rounds, in my opinion, were pretty close, especially the first one. But she just has to pick up her activity here in round 4 if she wants to get, especially coming in on the quote-unquote B side, right?
Yeah, we'll see if Lomeli could bounce back here in the 4th round, because it did feel as though there were aspects of Nat Dove kind of taming that early excitement that Perla Lomeli brought into the ring. And even in between rounds, remember, between rounds 2 and 3, Perla Lomeli is up dancing to the music. We're not seeing that same type of attitude right now.
And it's ironic that Nat Dove, doing her homework and studying like her team did, said, she's aggressive in spurts, but she comes in with her head a lot, and she's been fighting the most of those rounds with that big knot on her forehead, as Perla Lomeli is leaning in too far over that front foot for my liking when she tries to close the distance inside.
Nice. Looking for an uppercut, but Dove there with a counter left hook that gets there first. Nice right hand over the top as well.
Beautiful work there from Nat Dove.
These right hands from Dove, as you see the head of Lomeli popping back every once in a while, they're becoming more and more visible to the judges.
Well, and that's because Nat Dove is standing her ground a little bit more. Most of that action took place in the center of the ring, and Nat's been moving her legs a lot more, which is what her coaches asked her to do, hit and move, but she was very effective in the center of the ring with that action in the last 30 seconds or so.
Lomeli still every once in a while sneaking in those body shots like that. Nat Dove right back with one of her own, and a right hand again over the top. Another good round for No Love.
Why do you insist on saying that? You lame everything when you know you'll go and go.
As a trainer telling her she doesn't have to stay in there, but I think she did some good work when she did. I think some of her best work of the fight is you see that clear right hand over the low guard there of Perla Lomeli. Then she doubles up on the jab, keeping Lomeli on the outside as she gets back into that clinch. And then we didn't see it there, but she went back to the body again after that.
Right? Every time you stay straight, it lands. Right? Every single time.
Round 5 now underway. Nat Dove, the granddaughter of a fighter, Hector Rios, who she said never tried to make her fight like he did. She said he was a lot more of an aggressive fighter, a brawler, but he never forced her to fight that way. But in round 4, we saw little pops of Grandpa Hector, I would say, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he was, smiling for that because I liked what I saw too, and I know that, she's going to be more of the boxer and stick and move around the outside, but she gave Perla a little bit of her own swagger on the inside. And, we were going through our notes doing some research. Nat Dove, one of her biggest inspirations in the ring is amateur legend Christina Cruz, right? She said they even feel like they look alike. She went right up to her.
That's right.
In the amateurs, and she said she would ask, I talked to Christina about that, she said she would ask her all these questions to the pros, the veterans there, no hesitation. She always had a goal, she always had a game plan. She's fighting a focus fight.
2 big right hands there from Dove that came on the back of a nice sweeping left hook as well.
When you have mentors like that coming up, you learn from so many different people, your grandfather, etc., your coaches, her dad. It's just, you see a well-rounded fighter, and that's what we're seeing tonight in Nat Dove.
Growing up in the fighting city of Philadelphia, you're just exposed to high-level boxing knowledge everywhere. And this is taking on the personality of a Philly gym war right now.
As she gets cut, I think, Florian, by her right eyebrow. I think Nat Dove has a little slit there by her eyebrow.
Dove and Lomeli going toe-to-toe, center of the ring here in round 5.
How about that catch and shoot right there from Nat Dove? That was beautiful. Perla didn't think so. She shook it off. That wasn't that same look. But Perla's having fun in there as well. But I think Nat Dove has turned the tide in this fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last and final round.
The 6th and final round upcoming as we look at the corner of Nat Dove. So the world-ranked Nat Dove looking to hold on to that world ranking or improve upon it. She can close things out here against Perla Lomeli. Will this be another agonizing result for Perla Lomeli, who just seems to always be in this kind of fight? The fight's competitive, it's exciting, but she just can't quite edge these rounds. Are we going to see another one of those sets of scorecards for Lomeli, or can she get over the hump?
We might. I'm not going to put it past. The reason is because she makes the fights exciting. She's going to stand in there and throw. She throws a lot of punches. She lands some good shots. But at the same time, I feel like the control and the pace goes as Nat Dove goes. If she wants to stand there and bang, she can. If she wants to fight on the outside, she's effective. Lomeli's just not making it pretty.
Yeah, and I think that Dove has maintained her composure, maintained her boxing structure a lot more often. And oftentimes, in 2-minute rounds, Christina, as we know, it could be the difference of 2 to 4 punches when you really break it down in terms of who wins a fight. And Lomeli, as we've seen, when we saw her against Crystal Rosado, she was there with her in terms of punch output, but it was the accuracy. And look at that, a little bit of a lapse in judgment, a big lapse in judgment for Perla Lomeli will be docked a point in the final round. And again, who knows what the scorecards look like right now, but that could be a difference maker one way or another. Final 20 seconds of this contest. And a massive right hand over the top from Dove. Back comes Lomeli, but it may be too little, too late. And now Dove will be docked a point in the waning moments of this fight. So we're going to see some unusual numbers on the scorecards in the final, in just a few moments in that final round, as this one gets a little out of control, and that will do it.
I want 2 more rounds now after that. It got a little chippy there at the end, did it not?
Yeah, no love, no pun intended,
at all,
between Dove and Lomeli there.
She didn't even look at her.
Hey, credit to Lomeli for keeping that same energy that she had in fighter meetings during the ring walk all throughout the fight. But you can also understand Nat No Love Dove, she with the hematoma on the top of her head, not wanting to touch gloves with Perla. All right, let's take a look back at the full fight highlights here. An entertaining and sometimes rough one between Dove and Lomeli.
Yeah, Lomeli started off strong. She threw punches and bunches, true to her style, aggressive in spurts, but Nat Dove perfectly timed her jab. She did a good job going down to the body, fighting around the outside. Probably about round 3, she started to move around at range, catching and shooting like she did with the left hand, delivered the straight right there. You know, Lomeli hitting on the break right there in the final, 20 seconds of the fight could make some of these scorecards interesting, depending on how you saw those earlier rounds.
We await the decision here, and yeah, to your point, I mean, the boxing math is going to get complicated on that 6th round with both fighters getting a point deduction.
So you got, if you 10-9,
it becomes a 9-9 round +1. It'll look a little weird on the scorecards, but we're going to find out in just a moment. I have a feeling that Big Mo will have the answer as to what this is in just a second.
He better, but I can see why Perla continues to get opportunities on cards like that, and they put her against undefeated fighters to test their fighters.
Exactly.
She's one of those opponents, and she gave Nat No Love Dove a tough fight tonight. Was it enough? And I think Nat's going to look back and see there's some moments where she probably didn't have to stand in there and exchange the way her coach didn't want her to, but did.
Looks like Big Mo has the scorecards coming in the ring, and as we mentioned, that boxing math might have been a little bit more complicated than usual, which might be the explanation for the extra time it has taken. All right, we are ready with the scores. Let's hand it back to Big Mo.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, after 6 full rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards at ringside. Judges Manuel Marquez Jr. and Rorick Young see it 57-55, while Judge Richard Green Jr. sees it 58-54. Declaring your winner by unanimous decision and still undefeated, Nat No Love Dove.
So Nat Dove remains undefeated. You heard the scores, 57-55 and 58-54. a competitive night that Perla Lomeli was able to give her. And to your point, Christina, there'll be some lessons to learn from this one, but a lot to like as we continue to look ahead to Judgment Day. Jake versus Joshua. The unthinkable is happening. Jake Paul taking on one of the best heavyweights of this generation. Live on Netflix this Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And now, No Love is standing by with Sibley.
All right, Miami, make some noise! Nat Dove in the building, handling business as you do. How did that fight play out for you? Was there any worry at all through any of those rounds?
First off, I want to thank everybody for being here, MVP for putting us on. Second, my sister's birthday is tomorrow. My brother's is the next day, so happy birthday to y'all. And back to your question, that was a fucking good fight. I stepped up in weight to get an opponent, and she's fought heavier girls, and she came in with her head a lot. But we made it work, and thanks to her for coming out, putting up a good fight.
I mean, it's got to feel good being out here in Miami. MVP Netflix, you are an MVP signee, obviously. I like the clothing situation right now. Are we changing things up? How do we continue to elevate in each time you hit the ring?
Study the fight. You know, we don't know what we have to do until we watch it and we make a plan. So I want to go home, study the fight, see what I got better at, see what I need to work on, and build a plan.
Well, listen, I know everybody in here wanted more rounds because y'all really brought it. Congratulations on that win. Miami, make some noise. Nat, No Love Dove. Congratulations.
So Nat No Love Dove continues her quest towards a world title. Christina, of course, we were talking to her yesterday. She feels like there's an 18-month-ish arc where we could see her in those types of fights, and it's these types of fights that will get you ready for those moments. Oh, the party continues here in LIV, and these folks, they've been partying all week long in Fight House. You can follow Most Valuable HQ for all the behind-the-scenes action. Look at the names hanging out in the penthouse suite here at the Fontainebleau. We didn't get the invitation to this one.
I mean, whatever. I value my quiet time. I'm away from my children. I'm in full fight study mode. I don't think I'd be a fun addition. At least not anymore.
Well, you can check out Fight House. Our boy Dan Canovio's living in the house as well. You see him there in the background. He's a veteran of LIV Nightclub, we hear as well.
They see the camera. They know what's going on.
All right, our open workouts roll along as we take a look at an MMA icon. Tyron Woodley will be taking on Anderson Silva on Friday. Of course, he reigned as the UFC welterweight champion between 2016 and 2019. Of course, we've seen him in the ring as a professional boxer as well, giving a competitive fight to Jake Paul the first time out. Of course, he got stopped the second time out. We haven't seen him in action since December 18th of 2021, but when you get an opportunity to fight one of your heroes, you jump at it. Let's meet Tyron Woodley as we send it back up to Big Mo.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, moving right along with the open workouts here at MVP Showcase 2. Introducing next to the ring, making his return to the boxing ring from Ferguson, Missouri. Ladies and gentlemen, the former UFC welterweight champion of the world. He is the chosen one, Tyron Woodley.
So Tyron Woodley makes his way to the ring. The 43-year-old from St. Louis, Missouri. As we mentioned, we've seen him in the pro boxing ring twice before. And Woodley has really shown a love for the sport, Christina, because he's stuck around. He's been a part of MVP broadcasts in the past. He seems to have really fallen in love with the sport of boxing, and now a dream opportunity, as we mentioned, to get in the ring with one of his heroes in Anderson Silva.
For sure. And, you know, when he got the call from Alycia Baumgardner, he was like, okay, well, you only call me most of the time for one reason. Who you got for me? What do you want it to be? And when he said, well, why don't you meet me? Let's come have a chat. Let's talk about it. I can almost guarantee Anderson Silva was not who he had on his bingo card that night. But nonetheless, here we are. And they never got a chance to mix it up as MMA artists because of the difference in weight class. But when you, like you said, when you get an opportunity to fight an idol, a legend, and you get to do it in the squared circle, he said, then the check's right, why not?
Of course, 4 title defenses of his UFC welterweight title in that run between 2016 and 2019. And at one point fought 4 championship fights in a 364-day span. And you know, Christina, it's guys like Woodley making these types of crossovers that I think has really bridged that gap between the boxing community and the MMA community. And we'll get into it a little bit more when Anderson Silva hits the ring as well. But I think there's a lot more harmony between those communities. And I think we've seen some MMA fans have that entry ramp through fights like Jake Paul versus Silva versus Woodley, who are now starting to pay more attention to the sport of boxing as well.
Well, yeah, and of course, if you're a fan of mixed martial arts, you know, boxing is a foundation, that it's one of the disciplines. So, and especially when you see Anderson Silva and what he did, that transitioned quite smoothly because of his affinity for the sweet science. But Tyron Woodley's an athlete. He trains hard whenever given the opportunity. He was, you know, I'm sure he wishes he had a little bit more time before that Jake Paul fight to train the way that a true athlete would have wanted to, but stepped up to the plate and took the challenge. And of course, the second fight didn't work out the way he wanted it to. Worked out great for Jake, a viral, devastating knockout. But now they fight on the same card, different opponents. But he's found his way to stay on the sport. He looks happy on this way. He looks to be in great shape as well. So I'm very much looking forward to him versus Anderson on Friday night. Should be a fun fight.
Well, you see him on the mitts here, just ripping those shots on the inside. Yeah. And you'd have to think the strategy for Woodley come Friday night is proximity. Of course, Silva, the more natural striker, the long-range boxer. Woodley, primarily, I mean, his main background is as a grappler, an incredibly accomplished wrestler. And you'd have to think that proximity, where he can also use his physical strength, that body manipulation on the inside, I would imagine that has to be his game plan come Friday.
No doubt about it. You know, he always said he continued to have a love for boxing. He still wanted to box. You know, he was right now staying in shape because he's filming a movie, Roadhouse 2 in London this year, working alongside some fellow MMA fighters like Michael Chandler and Michael Venom Page and Stephen Thompson. But, like, this was an opportunity he said that he couldn't pass up. And, like, I think I gave him a legitimate chance. I mean, of course he's going to give himself a chance or he wouldn't have taken the fight. But he's going for a knockout. He's not in there to play games. He has a lot of respect. But come Friday night, that's going to go out the window. He's going to try to put on a show.
Perhaps looking to score a knockout, just like with that left hook that ended the open workout. And with that, he is standing by with Sibley.
A legend in his own right here, Mr. Tyron Woodley. We got the sweat going. Yeah, make some noise, Miami. It feels good. Showing us a little preview what's going to go down on Friday. I got 2 questions for you. 2021 is the last time we saw you in the ring. You're doing it now. 4 years later, if I can do the math correct. Why now, and how does it feel to make this happen on Friday?
It's comeback season. It's a beautiful moment. I'm excited to be back. Somebody like Anderson Silva just got my blood flowing, so I'm excited about it. Trained, I'm ready. I'm going for the knockout.
And now I was told by a little birdie that I heard a lot of fighters said no to going against Anderson. Why did you decide that, yes, I can do it in this short amount of time and make it happen?
I was already training. I was already in the mindset. Nikisa hit me and said, what's this post about? It's the post about the comeback season. I said, I'm training for the unsigned fight. He said, I said, you're not calling me for nothing, so if you're calling me, what's the play? He said, I'll hit you tomorrow. So everything else is history.
And just like that, we'll see you on that card Friday, taking on Anderson Silva. Miami, stand up, make some noise. Tyron Woodley.
Well, the MMA icon, the combat sports icon, Tyron Woodley, shaking out here at LIV Nightclub as he'll take on another icon in the combat sports realm, Anderson Silva. Again, an opportunity to face one of his idols. And that's Friday at the Kaseya Center here in Miami, Florida, live only on Netflix.
At least you know we do our homework, because he echoed what we said on the broadcast.
That's right.
You know, I'm like,
good to get that validation.
We're not lying to you.
No, exactly. All right, we welcome you back ringside here at a LIV Nightclub. Corey Erdman and Christina Poncher, your hosts here today. We just saw Tyron Woodley in the ring shaking out. And, of course, we are building towards Judgment Day, Jake versus Joshua. And I've been saying this all night. It really is kind of unthinkable. If you were to go back just a couple of years, the genesis of this, who would have ever thought that in this span of time that we'd be seeing Jake Paul take on a man in Anthony Joshua who's really been a part of the nucleus of the sport of boxing, one of its biggest draws, its most successful fighters, and a guy who's not on the decline. This is an active top 5 real deal heavyweight that he's facing tonight.
I think the only person that thought about it was Jake Paul. Right? he came out with this hit list. Anthony Joshua was a part of that. Once he made it public, he's been able to manifest any and everything that he's wanted to do in his career. I think what fight fans have wanted him to do was take a significant test, fight a real boxer. Well, here you go. You're getting what you asked for. The question is, did Jake Paul bite off more than he can chew? I mean, that will be answered Friday night, but I think every round that Jake Paul survives, every round that he does well, in some sort of mini way, is a win for him in and of itself. But for Anthony Joshua, a win is just getting back into the ring after 15 months off. You know, that's really important for him. He was going to get a fight in this year. Didn't expect it to be against Jake Paul. Maybe that was on the horizon come maybe first quarter of next year anyway. But for Anthony Joshua, boxing is better when he's fighting, when he's in the ring. And I'm excited to see him back.
Yeah, and again, this is, you take away the experience levels as we look at the Anthony Joshua highlight tape. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to call his fight against Alexander Usyk the rematch. And what a high-level strategic fight that was, even though he lost it. But Joshua, again, going back, you take away the experience differential in this one, this is a matchup between two of the biggest, maybe the two biggest attractions in the sport of boxing. Some of the best fight atmospheres that we've seen. Look at that. AJ, Wembley Stadium. He is a stadium attraction, and those only come along once every couple generations, or there's one every generation, one or two. Anthony Joshua has been that for the sport of boxing.
For sure, and I think he'll continue to be that regardless of what happens in this fight. But the big stages are meant for the biggest stars, and there is no doubt about it. Jake Paul is a star whether you like it or not, and he's going to look to put on come Friday night, and it's star power to the max. And they're going to be in this ring working out shortly, so stay tuned.
And so is one of his ex-opponents, Anderson Silva, who is set to hit the ring in just a few moments as we take a closer look at the Spider in his 34-11 MMA record. Now, this is a man who also has a professional boxing career. He was a pro boxer even before his MMA career. Wins over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and, of course, going the distance with Jake Paul. The Spider is set to hit the ring.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the opponent of Tyron Woodley, fighting out of the blue corner Friday night, live from Miami, Florida on Netflix, from Los Angeles, California, by way of Sao Paulo, Brazil, introducing the former UFC middleweight champion of the world and the longest reigning UFC champion in history. Ladies and gentlemen, Anderson the Spider Silva.
So Anderson Silva, the Spider, in perhaps a Spider-Man themed kid. Okay, yes. I identified that, right?
Yes. My son would love this right now.
Well, the Spider back in a pro boxing action. A UFC Hall of Famer. A title reign of 2,457 days at one point. 10 title defenses. A 16-fight UFC win streak. And Christina, we were talking about this earlier. I think the days of kind of that harsh division between MMA and boxing are probably past, but we remember the time when that was a really serious thing. But I remember even during that era of division between the two sports, that boxers would still talk about admiring Anderson Silva, that there were boxers who would come into our fighter meetings and you'd ask them, hey, who's your favorite fighter? They would say Anderson Silva. He is a man who transcended mixed martial arts and is a true legend in the world of fighting overall.
I mean, you can tell how much of a love he has for the sweet science, because whenever he talks about boxing, his smile radiates. You know, the energy that he has, that he's given to this sport, I mean, it was unmatched. In my conversation with him, I'm like, why at 50 years old are you still doing this? Like, why? And he said, because it makes me happy, because I love it, and because I train for it. I prepared. Like, he still is working out all the time, every day. He has a gym, and you know, you can just tell, like, he really, truly is here because he wants to be. It's not about the paycheck for him.
Yeah, I mean,
unlike some other fighters.
You know how you can tell that he has a true love for boxing? Because he's here at 50 years old. He does not need to be doing it. He's on the Forbes list of richest combat sports athletes in the world.
Hall of Fame.
Right.
You know, the accolades continue. He has done every media obligation. He has shown up on time as a true professional, true. And he has other businesses, so many other things going for him. But he just said, you know, and even when his, you know, the fight against Chris Weidman felt like that really was motivating for him, you know, to see an old foe in the ring. And unfortunately, the injury that Chris suffered made Tyron Woodley the new opponent. But nonetheless, he said, it's okay. I knew they were going to get another opponent and that I was still going to fight. I'm like, okay, so it wasn't just something personal with Chris.
Exactly.
It didn't even matter. He's like, I'm still going to do it, whoever they replace it with.
Oh, he's still got that fighting spirit burning with him. And you know, I think that you can give some amount of credit to Anderson Silva maybe for inspiring what we've seen recently, a wave of these crossover fights, Christina. You remember for years, Roy Jones Jr. talking about wanting to face Anderson Silva. That was before Jake Paul ever fought a UFC superstar. We were hearing about the potential of this, and it might, Anderson Silva deserves some credit for us even thinking that those types of fights could be possible.
I agree, 100%, and I think it's because of his foundation as a fighter, as a boxer. You know, and then there's that beef between UFC fighters, MMA fighters, and boxers. So it's kind of a way to pit one of the coldest of all time in boxing against one of the coldest of all time in MMA. And who's to say that that might not still happen?
It's never impossible. Anderson Silva just keeps coming back to the sport of boxing. It fights in 1998, 2005, 2021, 22, and of course back again here tonight. That love for the sweet science just will not die. And maybe we're gonna get a look at some of the Spider's body shots here.
Out of that southpaw stance. That left hand is devastating.
This fight against Woodley set at the, not quite at the cruiserweight limit, a catch weight of 195. Which should be a fairly comfortable region for Silva to weigh in at in his 3 fights since 2021. And he's come in at about 175, 192, 186. So even a 50-year-old Anderson Silva will feel pretty comfortable, I would imagine, at 195.
Sure, that pinpoint accuracy, those long arms. Beautiful striker. Honed that knockout power through his Muay Thai days as he doubles up with that lead right hand. He's got that fluid movement and little to the toe tap and the shot there. He's having fun.
Silva getting back in the ring also means we're going to get at least one more chance to experience his iconic entrance. We're gonna hear DMX one more time.
No question about it. And I'm sure we'll see some of those calls into the corner, right, when he's in the ring as well. As he...
All right.
And Sibley's got her highest heels on too, Sibley. I see you, girl.
Take it away, Sibley.
Thank you guys so much. They were saying I have my highest heels on and I'm still not up there with you. You look good here. It is an honor, sir. Everyone, give it up. Anderson Silva in the ring. I know you're feeling good. I've been looking all throughout your socials, and you're always so positive and saying God put you in these places. Why was this the right time to get back into the ring?
Wow. It's something very simple. When you have a passion inside your heart, you can do everything.
Knowing that a lot of fighters said no to getting in the ring with you. They said, no, we need more time. We're not ready for that. We can't do it. But Tyron Woodley said, I'm taking it. I'm going to go in there. What does that mean to you when a fighter says that?
Wow. I'm respect a lot, you know. That's fighters do this, you know. The real fighters do that. I respect a lot.
How are we leading up to this, feeling what's going on through your mind, knowing that we're just a couple days away?
Wow. I'm so happy to be here. Continue doing something God give me the pleasure and salute to keep doing. You know, I'm so happy.
I know we got to get out of here. You've built such a beautiful legacy. It's going to continue. Is there anything you want to say to everyone who's been there since day one and to everyone who's going to be new to watching you this Friday?
Yes, absolutely. So this is for everybody. Never keep your mind in a bad situation, in the bad things. All things is a bad you can do when you have a good heart. That's the point. That's the secrets for life.
I'm going to hold on to that. Make some noise, Miami. Anderson Silva.
Anderson Silva, the philosopher.
I mean, I'm saying, you know, with the years comes the wisdom. And, you know, we're cheesing listening to him talk because, like, how can you not smile back when he's speaking facts like he is right now? You keep a kind heart, you believe everything, you get your mind out of a dark place, anything's possible.
Well, as good of a motivational speaker as he is, he's a better fighter, and we're going to see him back in action against Tyron Woodley at Cruiserweight, live on Netflix this Friday. But right now, we are ready for our third and final fight of the night from here at LIV Nightclub. As we take a look at the tail of the tape, Luan Medeiros, another member of the MVP stable, taking on Tijuana's Hugo Macias. As you see the measurables, nearly dead even, a 1-inch height advantage for Luan Medeiros. Macias looking to spoil the MVP party here in Miami as we hand it back to Big Mo.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, Alycia Baumgardner, they've all arrived. But before we get to those final three workouts, we have our final professional showcase bout of the evening, live from right here in LIV Nightclub. 6 3-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, making his way to the ring, please welcome Hugo Macias.
The 32-year-old Hugo Macias makes his way to the ring with a record of 7-1-1. Fighting out of Tijuana, Mexico, and he has only fought in Tijuana, Mexico, where he's built his record in places like the Evolution Club and La Casa de los Zonquis, kind of infamous places where fighters go to build their records. And finally, he gets an opportunity to break out of that ecosystem and on the big stage here in Miami.
You mean they don't go to LIV? different kind of club.
And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, making his way to the ring, the undefeated Luan Medeiros.
So Luan Medeiros makes his way to the ring here in Miami, 6-0. We saw him in June of this year, scoring an 8-round unanimous decision over Tony Aguilar. Had to take a little time away from the gym with an elbow injury that hampered him a little bit in that Aguilar fight. He persevered, got the victory nonetheless. Now he says he is 100% healthy and looking to make a statement here tonight.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is our final showcase bout of the evening for MVP Showcase 2 live from LIV Nightclub here in Miami Beach, Florida. It is scheduled for 6 3-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Our 3 judges scoring this bout at ringside: Rorick Young, Richard Green Jr., and Daniel Fitzgerald. And our referee in charge when the bell rings is Sam Burgos. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 2 warriors, 1 fight. Who wants it more? Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with red trim. He stands 5 feet, 5.8 inches tall. He weighed in at 134.4 pounds. Tonight, he enters the ring with a near-perfect professional record of 7 victories, opposite just 1 defeat, with 5 of those wins coming by way of knockout. And he fights out of Tijuana, Mexico. Damas y caballeros, presentando Hugo Macias. And now his opponent, standing across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with white and gold trim. He stands 5 feet, 6.5 inches tall. He weighed in at 133.4 pounds. Tonight, he enters the ring undefeated as a professional. 6 fights, 6 victories, 4 of them coming by way of knockout. And he fights out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Introducing MVP's newest signee and the former member of the Brazilian national team. Ladies and gentlemen, Luan Medeiros.
All right, gentlemen, get the instructions on the back. Obey my command. Protect yourself at all times. Aquí estamos bien, aquí estamos bien. ¿Alguna pregunta? ¿Alguna pregunta? Touch him if you like, gentlemen.
So Luan Medeiros looking to remain undefeated. Back in action tonight against Hugo Macias. Medeiros, the veteran of nearly 150 amateur fights as a member of the Brazilian national amateur team, a member of the Brazilian Army boxing team as well. And round 1 now underway. You see the long, lanky Hugo Macias taking a big step up in opposition here tonight. We saw him last time scoring a 4th-round knockout win over Cosme Rivera in September of this year back home in Mexico. And for our boxing hardcores out there, not that Cosme Rivera.
Well, and how cool for him to get the opportunity to fight this week and come out after Anderson Silva. I mean, you're talking about Brazilian royalty, and for Luan Medeiros, I mean, that has to be a dream come true. Being an athlete from that country, being on the same card or same fight week, you know, as a legend in Anderson Silva. What a great opportunity.
Down to the hard right hands to the body there from Medeiros. Medeiros said he felt as though body punching would be a key. Macias, as he described, you know, and not every fighter from every region fights identically, and I don't like when we lump them all together, but in his words, he's not really the prototypical Mexican fighter. I'm using air quotes here. He idolizes fighters like Lomachenko, guys who he describes as having fast feet.
Right, and he looks up to the guys that kind of he watched fighting growing up in real time, right. Not who he went back and other fighters that go back and watch tape of people that they used to watch when they were little. No, I mean, it's the Lomachenkos, the Pacquiaos, the Miguel Cottos. Those are the kind of guys that he grew up watching. Styles he admired, his favorite fighters.
Nice long-range right hand there from Medeiros. Wicked uppercut there from Medeiros as well, who's Cutting a terrific tempo here in the opening round. Again, just scheduled for 6.
And the southpaw Macias actually landed a good left hand to the body of Medeiros too, kind of finding his, still trying to find his range, but he does have really long arms. Like his reach looks significant for the weight class. At least he's fighting with every bit of it.
Right hand to the body there from Maderos, who climbs the ladder with the left hook. Good left hand connects there from Macias. He gets there first. Maderos takes it well and stays in the pocket.
Yeah, he beat Medeiros, who was looking to land that right hand to the body that he's done a few times here in this first round. Good job getting his head back off the line to be out of range for that counter right hand from Macias.
So that herky-jerky motion of Hugo Macias giving Medeiros different pictures all the time. You saw him switch to the orthodox stance momentarily. A good competitive opening round here between Medeiros and Macias.
You have to use more the crosses. Go for it.
Round 2 underway. Saw Hugo Macias' wife in his corner, who's also his nutritionist, and tonight acting as a trainer as well.
You know what? We do it all. Women have to wear.
That's a heck of a marriage, I gotta say.
Women have to wear multiple hats in relationships, you know. So it doesn't surprise me. Someone that knows you the best, someone that's there training with you by the gym, someone that cooks your food, your nutrition. So hey, they have good game plans.
Shout out to my wife Amanda, who I know is in my corner and watching at home as well. Had to sneak that in.
No doubt about it.
And Luan Medeiros, his relationship has been a topic of conversation as well. He is dating Brazilian superstar actress Mel Maia, who has her own show on Netflix as we speak, Os Donos do Jogo, and she has over 25 million Instagram followers, which means his relationship is tabloid fodder back home. But it is Hugo Macias who is cannon fodder for those left hooks to the body for Medeiros, who is increasing the pressure here in the second round.
As he should. I think that has to be an adjustment that needs to be made. Medeiros just has to get a little bit busier. You know, he's doing a good job cutting off the ring, but after the jabs, he's got to find a way to get the right hand to go. There feinted a bit, back to the stick, but you know, the long range and reach of Macias, I think, is making him think a little bit more than maybe he thought he would.
Couple good body shots again there from Medeiros. I think that the movement, and not just the movement around the ring, but again, the upper body movement, the head movement, the length, the southpaw stance. It's not to say Medeiros didn't win the opening round or isn't winning this round, but Macias is able to make it complicated for him.
Yeah, he is, and especially keeping busy with that jab, doubling it up, and then exiting away from Medeiros' strong hand, although he lands one there.
Hand there from Medeiros.
And back to the body, too, after it. I love that.
Little stumble there from Macias, but it looked like it might have been a footwork issue for Macias, who at times, Christina, it's looked like, listen, we have somewhat of a smaller ring here tonight, is meant to encourage action, but it feels like Macias is having a little bit of difficulty kind of figuring out the dimensions here tonight. Good shot there.
He slipped here.
And again, a footwork issue there for Macias. 25 seconds remaining in round 2.
Oof. Good work here
in the closing seconds for Medeiros as he flashed an uppercut. There it is again. I like that shot.
And brings that right hand up top, 2 in a row. Medeiros exuding confidence right now as he is unloading right hands, and that will do it for the frame. Well, the boxing bullies are loving this. Getting a primo seat at the top of a LIV Nightclub.
Did they check their IDs before they walked in the door?
They checked my ID
I had to
coming
be
in.
21 and over. Yeah,
So
I had to be 21 and over before I got let in LIV. What's happening? What's happening, though, is Medeiros landing beautiful body shots like that. You can tell that he's starting to find his rhythm here in round 3, picking his shots, seeing things. They're finding out that distance, how he can cut that distance a lot more in that second round. Excuse me. Much better round there, in my opinion, for Medeiros.
Round 3 underway. Luan Medeiros and Hugo Macias. Medeiros, a member of the MVP stable. And again, at 30 years of age, not looking to waste a ton of time in his development.
Has 6-0 now as a pro with 4 knockouts, but it's those 150 amateur fights that really set the tone for him, and why he's one of those fighters that I wouldn't be surprised if MVP fast tracks.
No, and you look at his development so far, Medeiros had the types of fights that you tend to have out of the gate. But last time out, Tony Aguilar at 13-1-1, that was his first opponent who had more than 3 fights. And then again here tonight, taking on a 7-1-1 fighter. So they're staying on track of keeping Medeiros active and improving as he lets go of another one of those right uppercuts that's breaking through the guard of Macias.
Oh, beautiful shot there with the lead left hand as well. Stepping just right out of range, but still staying close to the pocket to fire back.
Right hand in the body, yeah, and then climbs the ladder with that left hook. We're seeing now, Christina, a lot more movement from Macias and less offense. It seems like Medeiros has taken a little bit of his confidence away.
He has. It was the first round and a half where Macias was doubling up on the jab, circling around, looked to be controlling the pace, fighting the fight he wanted to. And since then, Medeiros has implemented more of his game plan. He's been able to go to the body. He brought in that uppercut, and now he's standing his ground in the middle of the ring, making Macias come forward.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I think the difference now is Macias is being made to move. He might still be moving the same amount, but this is not consensual movement, right? I mean, this is Medeiros making him find space in this ring. Inside the final minute here in round 3. Oh, just missing with a rocket of a right hand was Medeiros.
Nice little slick defense on the inside. Showing some good footwork there is Medeiros as
his right hand again inside the final 30 seconds of round 3. Hugo Macias looking for answers on the perimeter of the ring here. He does find the body of Medeiros there with a left hand. But this has been another excellent round for the Brazilian, who again lands that right hand flush.
I'd like to see Medeiros go back down to the body, though, too. Head hunting just a bit in this round, as he does it right there. But
there's one body shot. Yeah. We'll see if he can continue that pattern in the next round as we head back to the stools.
I was going to make a body shot joke with the club, but I'm not going to do it.
Por quê? Você tá ficando? A mulher tá pegando já? Já que você fecha mais essa mão, um pouco mais de força no golpe, tá vendo?
You have to be stronger in the
Estamos ganhando a luta já, estamos de boa, a luta tá na nossa mão.
This is the last part.
Ok? Deixa eu lhe falar, eu quero direto, take.
right through the guard with the lead jab hand, and that's where I would have liked to see him work a little bit more to the body. You see Macias is keeping those hands up nice and high. How do you get those hands to come down? You start delivering body shots like you did earlier, and there is his beautiful girlfriend who you spoke about, Brazilian actress Mel Maia, and you know what? She's as much of a star as she is in her own right. She's always here supporting him. The weigh-ins, she's cheering for him. The fights, she's up loud. And I love that she gets to sit back and be the fan when she has so many of her own fans, millions back in Brazil.
Well, she's got to like what she sees right now from Luan Medeiros, who again puts Macias on his heels. Macias again with that kind of heavy footwork. It's just getting him into trouble here as Medeiros is just steadily pushing him backwards. And one thing I liked in fighter meetings yesterday, Christina, Medeiros early in his pro career was still talking about wanting to represent Brazil at the 2028 Olympics. And we've seen fighters over the last couple of years, high-level fighters oscillating between the amateurs and the pros, and sometimes it's kind of frozen their pro careers a little bit. Yeah. You think about the big Uzbek, Bakadir Jalolov, going back and forth. Medeiros yesterday told us, no, I've given up those dreams. It is all about chasing a world title in the pros.
Well, yeah, and you can lose momentum, and then you fall back into those tendencies and those habits from when you're an amateur, where you're just trying to score for points and not knockouts. And I think that he's made a great decision, especially at this age, with the amount of amateur experience he already has. I couldn't agree more with his decision.
Medeiros whipping that right hand. Missing with that left hook over the top. Macias starting to creep forward a little bit, maybe thinking, hey, we're in round 4 now. We may be approaching desperation time, as you see Macias again struggling with his footing a little bit of a slip with that front foot.
That's kind of been a problem. I don't know, his shoes don't seem to have like very good grip. He slipped several times. Even when he warmed up, when he was kind of warming up, walking into the ring, I saw him slip as well. So might got him change that up. Granted, we've had several fighters working out. We've had 2 fights already, but that's always going to be the case.
Might need the shoe doctor in his corner. We actually saw that in Eduardo Nunez, Christopher Diaz. Diaz's corner noticed he was slipping and put duct tape upside down under his boots and corrected everything for Diaz. And Hugo Macias might need a little help here tonight as he takes another flush right hand there.
You can even see, like, I'm looking right at his feet and they're like slipping forward.
Yeah, he is on skates right now.
Yes.
You see him again. Final 15 seconds of the round. And there, again, Macias just cannot hold his footing. And one final right hand from Medeiros as we head back to the corner.
There's a look at the slip once again. Obviously, Medeiros helped him out there a little bit with that shot. And if we look at the shoes, and Shoe Cam 101, appreciate the director for this. But yeah, I mean, just the grip is just not there. I understand part of it is the element, but the other part of it is like from the minute he stepped into the ring, just a little unsteady and slippery on those feet. I would like to see Medeiros pick up the work rate a little bit. I think he maybe took that last round off of it.
Well, I would say if you're looking across the ring at an opponent who is struggling with his balance, picking up the tempo a little bit more, I mean, you could put Macias in some serious trouble. I don't know that he can function properly against heavy pressure, considering his footwear issues right now as he eats another right hand.
Yeah, that was a perfect shot right there. It goes right back to it. That was a little bit low with the right hand there, Corey.
Certainly not the way that Hugo Macias hoped that this night would go. A man who really puts it all into getting ready for boxing matches. This is a man with an engineering degree who works as a full-time engineer, has to get up at 2:30 in the morning to get his road work done, goes to work, then goes to the boxing gym until 10 p.m. with his daughter, who is also a boxer. Probably the only way he could see his daughter. And then sleeps for 4.5 hours and does it all over again. Put his heart and soul into getting ready for this one, but...
And I respect that hustle so much. They made it a family affair, obviously, but he's an engineer. He needs to engineer some better boxing shoes right now because, again, almost nearly a slip.
Might need the blueprint for that one. Nice pull counter right hand there from Luan Medeiros. And again, made easier by the fact that Macias lost. He was sliding with that lead foot again. Now Medeiros just backing him up with right hands.
Lands another one to the body, although Macias thought it was a little bit low. I think that was clean.
Yeah, the referee did not, and so he will feel the effects of it without an admonishment from the referee as we close in on the final minute of round 5.
Some feints there with that lead foot for Medeiros, and I don't know. I mean,
big right hand there from Medeiros, and Macias goes down. And that will be ruled a slip, but he felt that right hand, Christina. Medeiros kind of aided him in his trip to the canvas, but he felt that right hand. We'll see if Medeiros tries to jump on him a little bit here in the closing moments of round 5.
And I think Medeiros, honestly, though, is feeling a little bit of fatigue here. I mean, it's been 192 days since he has last fought. And I've seen him be more active before. I know that he's being cautious and kind of letting Macias swing wildly like that. Oh, see, and he almost doesn't even have to do the work with his punches because Macias is happening on its own.
You see Macias just backing himself into a corner there, saying, well, if I can't move properly, maybe I can just hang out here. Macias all over the place with Medeiros on top of him. Another right hand with 1 to go.
And he actually went back to the corner there as I'm looking in the red corner, and he's like trying to scrape his feet on the mat. But there's one of the most clean shots landed in the fight there from Medeiros. And this moment here, not so clean. At least not for boxing, at least. Maybe that's how my kids wrestle in the living room, but not quite what you want to see here in the Sweet Science.
Looking at that replay, Macias was genuinely buzzed by that right hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last and final round.
Macias certainly felt that right hand. If Medeiros hadn't guided him to the mat, he might have had an opportunity for a knockdown.
That's why he tried to hold and why he was off balance there.
All right, 6th and final round here between Luan Medeiros and Hugo Macias, who has been hampered in the footwear department here tonight.
Macias has just got to get busy and let his hands go if he wants to give himself a chance. The right hand, or excuse me, the left hand from the southpaw stance has got to become more of a weapon. Just like that.
We mentioned sensing a little bit of fatigue in Macias here tonight. Again, you look back at the level of opposition that Macias has had. You know, guys with losing records in 2 of his last 3 outings. And to read between the lines, he's dictating the pace in that fight. Tonight, it has not been his choice.
Yeah, in his first fight outside of Mexico, an opportunity that he was excited about. I don't think things quite going the way that he had envisioned them in his head, as Medeiros is under 2 minutes away likely from walking away with win number 7 in his early professional career.
Macias starting to lean in a little bit more. Medeiros perhaps hip to that, letting go of some uppercuts. Half a round to go in this contest. And Hugo Macias is going to need something monstrous here.
There's
nice
the body shot. Yes.
That's what you're asking for. Again, in these orthodox southpaw matchups, sometimes it's more complicated for the righty to land his left hook to the body, but what Medeiros did there is what you've been calling for, let the right hand go to the body instead.
Well, yeah, and he's cutting the distance well, getting his lead foot on the outside of Macias's. That's half the battle, is that foot position when you have that orthodox and southpaw matchup.
And there he had that perfect foot positioning to land a right hand right down the pipe, popping the head back of Hugo Macias. With 30 seconds remaining in this contest.
Again, I mean, every time he goes to the well, when he goes to the body, he lands that shot, does Medeiros.
Beautiful counter uppercut there from Luan Medeiros.
That's a pretty shot.
There it is again. Medeiros, the natural counter puncher, showing his expertise in the closing moments of this contest. Alycia Baumgardner there ringside, no doubt pleased with what he saw here tonight. Luan Medeiros is shaking his head a little bit. He's not exuding happiness right now. Quite the perfectionist. As we take a look back at the full fight highlights, an impressive night for Luan Medeiros.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably wanted to get a knockout. He has 4 of them in his 6 professional fights. Maybe had he gone to the body a little bit more, but at the same time, Macias' game, he stayed active on that jab early. There was the body work from Medeiros that he was able to cut the distance. Fighting more at the center of the ring was where he was more effective. Just the more accurate pinpoint puncher tonight was Medeiros. Macias didn't really change his game plan very much. Every round from kind of 2 on looked the same, in my opinion, for Macias. A lot of slips. Again, the shoes weren't doing him any favors tonight. I'm sure those will go in the trash.
They might stay here in Miami.
They might stay. But yeah, I think Medeiros the clear victor tonight. He showed a little bit more in the accuracy department, a broader range of punches, controlled the pace. But again, he wasn't that happy with his performance, maybe wanting the knockout, but I think he won very clearly tonight.
We'll see what the judges think. Those scores are in the hands of Big Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 full rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards at ringside. All 3 judges see the contest 60-54, declaring your winner by unanimous decision and still undefeated, Luan Medeiros.
So Luan Medeiros remains undefeated. We'll have a lot of happy fans back home in Brazil, where he is a rising star. And as you pointed out, Christina, sharing a fight week with Anderson Silva, a monumental moment for Luan Medeiros as we look ahead to Friday's mega event and this fantastic co-feature. The unified super featherweight title on the line. The champ, Alycia Baumgardner, putting her titles on the line against the Canadian underdog, Leila Beaudoin, at the Kaseya Center here in Miami. Live only on Netflix. A terrific fight that will set the stage for Jake versus Joshua in our main event. All right, Luan Medeiros now standing by with Sibley.
Congratulations, Miami. Make some noise for Luan Medeiros! 2025 has been a busy year for you closing it out. We saw you June at Prospects 13. You signed to MVP December 4th, I believe. And now we're here at the end of the year in Miami, and you just got your win. How does it feel?
Como se sente? É muito importante para mim fechar com a MVP. Acho que é a maior que hoje em dia existe. E eu estou muito contente com o resultado dessa luta, encerrando o ano com chave de ouro.
It is a dream come true. I'm very happy for closing the year with this victory.
E eu quero, nas próximas lutas, conseguir mostrar mais e mais do meu boxe e poder só agradecer a todo mundo aí que está na torcida.
I just want to get better and better and to please everyone that is rooting for me.
You talk about everyone rooting for you. Obviously, if you want to say something to the folks back home in Brazil, any messages to them?
Uma coisa que você quiser para o pessoal no Brasil, teus fãs?
Eu sou muito grato a isso, a todo mundo que me acompanha, que me manda uma mensagem, a toda a minha equipe, meu patrocinador, minha família, minha namorada, todos esses sempre estão me apoiando e eu só tenho que agradecer isso tudo.
I'm very grateful to my fans, to my team, to my family, to my girlfriend, everyone that is supporting me all the time.
That's it. That's love. Congratulations. Give it up, Luan Maderos.
So Luan Maderos keeps that undefeated record looking tidy. He's looking a little happier now, too. He looked a little disappointed, as we pointed out, at the end of the fight, but now a smile on his face.
Well, yeah, a shutout on all three judges' scorecards. I think we had it the same way. So flash that smile. Be proud of the work you put in. Obviously, more work to be done as you continue to grow in your professional style. And for guys that have had over 100 to him, 150 amateur fights, sometimes that transition takes a little bit longer. Maybe you want to sit down on some of those shots a little bit more. Maybe attack the body as that power couple right there in the ring that you see. Oh, that's sweet.
Now, how many likes do we think that Instagram post is going to get of the 25 million followers that Maya has?
Winning in and out of the ring. He stays winning.
As we move along here from LIV Nightclub, the MVP showcase continues and the open workouts continue as well. And it is time for the bomb to drop. Alycia Baumgardner will be in the ring in just a few moments. The unified super featherweight champion, as you see, 6-0 in world title fights. A fighter that, as we talked about earlier tonight, has always appeared made for the big stage, and she has indeed belonged. And Alycia is ready to hit the ring as we send it back up to Big Mo.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, continuing with MVP Showcase 2, our next open workout. We saw the first half of our co-main event earlier, Leila Beaudoin, and now let's meet who she is challenging. The reigning defending champion, holding a near-perfect professional record of 16 victories versus just 1 defeat and 1 no contest, with 7 of those wins by knockout. Fighting out of Dallas, Texas, by way of Fremont, Ohio, USA, she is the current reigning and defending unified super featherweight champion of the world. And in her fight for equality, she is fighting 3-minute rounds Friday night in our co-main event on Netflix. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Alycia the Bomb Baumgardner.
Here comes the champ, the bomb, Alycia Baumgardner. Making her way to the ring. Of course, a brand new camp, Christina, last time out. That partnership has persisted, and it seems like a very good one.
Yeah, Derek James has really got her going. He has a lot of confidence in her abilities. Supported her fighting the 12 3-minute rounds because of what he saw in her conditioning, in her commitment, and the work she puts in. And she's having fun right now, and you know why? Because she said the hard work is done. I've been putting my blood, sweat, and tears in camp for way too long. Now it's showtime.
Baumgardner has been a part of some of the biggest fights in women's boxing over the last several years, one of the biggest stars. And you look at the viewership numbers, having fought on Netflix, probably, or actually is, one of the most viewed women's fighters ever.
It's the whole package, right? It's from the minute she hits the walk to what she wears to how she fights. It's the pre-fight lead-up, all of that, right? So it makes her who she is. It's the reason why she was so highly sought after by MVP. It's her confidence that she said, boxing chose her. She was given this God-given ability to be able to not only have the gift of gab, but the talent to back it up inside the ring. And it's led to her being a unified world champion, no longer undisputed because, of course, she was stripped of the WBC title because she decided to fight the 3-minute rounds.
Yeah.
Not something the WBC condones, and so therefore she made the tough decision, which she said it was a tough decision, to give up the belt. But she said the belts don't make her undisputed. She's still undisputed regardless of if she has that green belt around her waist anymore.
No one's taking it away from him, from her, exactly. And of course, Ring Magazine champion as well, as you see in the bottom right of your screen. Some highlights from Alycia Baumgardner's win over Jennifer Miranda last time out live on Netflix. As Baumgardner gets set to hit the mitts with Derek James. Baumgardner regarded by many as one of the biggest punchers in women's boxing, period. And that really stems from how it all started. You referenced this earlier on. Kind of coming out of nowhere in a lot of people's minds to knock out Terry Harper. Again, if you weren't a boxing hardcore and following boxing on the regional U.S. levels, you might not have known about Alycia Baumgardner when she went to the Sheffield Arena back in 2021 and knocked out the belter, who she is now under the same promotional banner as.
Right, and it's been title fights ever since, right? Title defenses. She's gone all over the world, all over the country, UK twice, New York, Detroit, Atlanta, New York again, and now here in Miami, defending those belts. I think there's still huge fights for her to be made too if she does get past Leila Beaudoin. No easy task. Of course, Leila has more than earned this opportunity. In fact, Alycia Baumgardner picked Leila for this bout. They're in the co-main event Friday night, fighting 3 12-minute rounds. And I really do hope that the action and everything I expect to see can continue through a fight that length. You know what I mean? As they set the stage for the main event.
Absolutely. And we'll see how Baumgardner's power, and in particular her accuracy, how that fares as it gets stretched out to 3-minute rounds. One of the most astonishing stats in looking at Alycia Baumgardner, Christina, the fact that she lands over 40% of her power punches, according to CompuBox. So basically, close to every second power shot she's throwing is landing. And when you have a fighter with the type of electric power that Alycia Baumgardner has, that means that she is dangerous every second of every round.
And a lot of that comes from her legs, right? Her base, where she puts in a lot of strength training. And you can see it, she's been muscular since she was born. She talked about that. She's just like, the power was given to me. It's something that she's able to hone, but it wasn't like something that, some people have it and some people don't. She's just got it. She's just got it. And she's going to need that because Leila's going to throw a lot of punches come Friday night. She's going to bring the accuracy. It's going to be kind of Leila's activity level versus Alycia Baumgardner's, heavy-handed fist.
Right. Well, and sometimes for fighters like Baumgardner, they thrive in those scenarios. You want a fighter who's going to be active, who brings that action to you, because when you're a pinpoint accurate power puncher like Baumgardner, volume also creates openings. There's obviously a risk that comes with being as busy as Leila Beaudoin, and we're going to see what kind of risk she's willing to take here against the bomb.
And you don't land that high percentage of power shots without having good accuracy too, right? She doesn't waste a lot of punches. I still yearn for the rematch with Michaela Mayer. I think a lot of fight fans do. I don't know if it'll ever happen because of the weight class disparity.
I feel like they yearn for that rematch. That rivalry is not going to die.
Any chance Alycia gets to talk about her wins and the belts she got and who she won them from, she pops off, and as she should, right? I mean, that was collecting that hardware is no easy task, especially when you get it the way you do by beating fighters to earn the belts, right? Versus just vacant belts, interim belts, etc.
And if you're looking ahead, if you're dreaming a little bit, just think of the big fights that could be out there for Alycia Baumgardner if she can exit this fight with her belts. All of the big names, really. I mean, Baumgardner is, and who knows to what degree this was serious. She was talking about fighting Claressa Shields. I feel like there's no limit to who she is willing to fight. And the big nights, you'd have to expect, they're going to keep coming for the bomb, Alycia Baumgardner. All right, the bomb standing by with Sibley.
We are here in the ring, getting these gloves taken off. We got to take a little break after that. Miami, make some noise, Alycia Baumgardner! So, you know, just before I snuck in the ring, I was talking to Nikisa. He said, come Friday night, you handle business and do what you got to do. We already know you're going to be the face of women's boxing and boxing, period, okay? You're going to handle business. What do you feel when he says something like that? That's a big statement.
Listen, the face and the face. You know, it's a statement because MVP has saw something that I've already seen within myself. And so to be in a stage like Netflix, I can really showcase what it is to be a fighter, what it is to be a warrior, what it is to have all the skills in the world. And to do that, 3 minutes, 12 rounds, I'm always up for a challenge, baby.
Absolutely. I know we're going to get out of here in a second, but listen, knowing it's the co-main, you're going to handle business, you're going to go out there. Do you change your mentality before you step in that ring? Is there something special that you do?
You know, I believe in myself. I believe in the skill. I have the same hunger as an 8-year-old girl walking into that gym, and this Friday you get to see all of that.
To all those fans who have watched you, I've asked this question of Anderson Silva as well. Since day one, the legacy that you are building and where you're at, come Friday night, what do you want to say to those people who have been there since day one and the newcomers?
Listen, for my day ones, for the ones who support me, love me, and hate me, baby, I love you back. And this is the best you ever gonna see. December 19th, live on Netflix. So make sure you tune in, because, baby, it's going to be a knockout.
Make some noise, Alycia Baumgardner!
Alycia Baumgardner. We're going to hear from her tomorrow as well at the press conference. I imagine it's going to get even spicier than that.
Oh, no doubt. The closer you get to the weigh-ins, the closer you get to the fight, the way the weight comes down a little bit, when you get to see your opponent face to face, it's fighting words, and she has no problem with that conflict. She actually lives for that. So I'm looking forward to seeing the verbal jabs fly tomorrow before we see the actual ones come Friday.
Well, that's coming up on Friday, the co-main event of Jake versus Joshua. It's Alycia Baumgardner, the Bomb, the unified super featherweight champion and Ring Magazine champion, taking on Leila Beaudoin. That's live at 8 p.m. Eastern Time only on Netflix. The Kaseya Center is going to be rocking on a Friday night. Baumgardner and Beaudoin getting a major platform once again. And we are now just moments away from our main event fighters hitting the ring. Jake and Joshua, the former heavyweight champion, just seconds away from entering LIV Nightclub. And we take a closer look at AJ, the two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world, the Olympic gold medalist. We haven't seen him in 451 days. Of course, since that fight against Daniel Dubois, and now back on the big stage as he takes on Jake Paul. We're ready to see AJ. Let's send it back up to Big Mo.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our main eventers. The two men headlining the biggest card of the year, on the biggest platform in the world, live from the 305 this Friday night and live around the world on Netflix. They will be fighting 8 3-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. Introducing first to the ring, fighting out of the red corner Friday night, he will enter the ring with a professional record of 28 victories versus 4 defeats, with 25 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Hailing from London, England, introducing the Olympic gold medalist, introducing the 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world, he is AJ Anthony Joshua.
Here comes AJ, one of the most accomplished fighters of the modern era, the Olympic gold medal, the 2 unified heavyweight titles, one of the biggest stars of this generation, one of the biggest attractions of this generation. A man, Christina, as we've described, has really been part of the nucleus of the sport of boxing throughout his career. Where he has gone, the wave of boxing seems to have gone.
He did it the right way, right? He came up in his amateur pedigree he has, becoming an Olympian, becoming a world champion, fighting the best fighters. The name's on his resume. Win, lose, or draw, he was always in the mix. You know what? Never would I have ever picked him to fight Jake Paul in his career. As we get a look at the chain, it's also been a battle of the chains since the very first promo and the very first. So that's very nice right there. That's very pretty. As if you remember Jake Paul saying at the press conference, AJ wanted him to bet that one that had all the bullets
that's right.
in it, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, AJ's cashed some of the biggest fight purses in recent memory.
Yes,
I feel he could compete in the chain game.
And his portfolio, even outside of boxing, right, is massive. So it's not just the paper that he's made, you know, inside the squared circle. It's what he's been able to do outside of it as well. But that's why he is the global superstar that he is.
Well, one of the major storylines coming into this fight is the fact that Joshua, we referenced that fight, those 2 fights against Alexander Usyk, the heavyweight champion, earlier. They've linked up. So basically going to the man who I think maybe psychologically or technically bested him in a way that he respected more than anyone, went to Usyk to try and enhance his game.
How does the saying go? If you can't beat him, join him.
But what humility to be able to do that, right?
But you know what? I didn't expect anything less from the type of person and individual that he is. You know what I mean? And from Usyk and his team as well to say, okay, let us help you. He's not training AJ the way they trained Usyk. They're 2 totally different style fighters. But he felt that they had the wealth of knowledge, the experience, and seeing this and studying AJ the way they did to defeat him the way they did. That's an asset to AJ because they've done their homework and know where he's weak, where he's strong, and I think that gives them an advantage when you're starting with a new team.
Yeah, Joshua really feels like this is the best possible opportunity for him. He really views this as kind of his stay busy, stepping stone type of fight before he moves along. In talking to his promoter, Eddie Hearn, they said they wanted to schedule an 8-rounder anyway. That might have been a couple of months ago in Riyadh. And instead, they can have an 8-rounder and make an immense amount of money on the global platform. Why not do it? They saw no downside to accepting this fight.
And I can't disagree.
I don't either.
You know, like I can't disagree. You're going to have the same amount of rounds that you were looking to have anyway. 8 rounds, which is what they wanted to come back with after 15 months out of the ring. Not a huge risk, as most of us traditionalists would say. And you, more than quadrupled the pay? And then some? Why not? Why not?
Of course, that is what the traditionalists would say. But the big risk is if Anthony Joshua, of course, does not win. But he has been in a somewhat similar situation. A lot of people, there are people out there who feel like this is headed towards being like another AJ versus Francis Ngannou, right? Where he faces a less less experienced fighter in an attraction type of fight, and obviously he scored a devastating knockout in that one. There's some who feel like we're headed towards a similar result.
Well, I think Jake is a much better boxer than Francis Ngannou. I think he prepared himself better. I think he has, more experience. I'm not saying fighter overall, but boxer to boxer, I think he has those skills. And, I just think for AJ, he's laser focused on what he has to do. He seems very calm. He seems very confident. He has kind of like hit the reset button on, after you suffer a devastating loss like he did against Dubois. I mean, he even said himself, I knew this time was going to come, that I had to hit the reset. I saw this back in 2018. So I think he's in a good place for a challenge like this. And I like that he's given props to Jake. I like that he's given props to his opponent. And he's not talking about, I'm going to come in here and knock him out in one round. He'll let Eddie do that. Eddie's the promoter, of course. But he seems, at the very least on the surface, to be taking Jake Paul very seriously.
No doubt. And he's made the point that Jake Paul has obviously been living and training as a professional fighter for many years now, and that's different from kind of an interloper coming into the sport. Jake Paul has made the sport his life. As we mentioned, the last time we saw Anthony Joshua, he was fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world against Daniel Dubois. He was knocked out in that fight. He was knocked down multiple times, a real firefight at Wembley Stadium. But again, just to further put into perspective where Joshua's at in his career, in case there's some people tuning in who think, this is a washed up version of Anthony Joshua. Again, a man one fight removed from fighting for the heavyweight title in a fight he was heavily favored in.
Yeah, and in heavyweight boxing, anything can happen, right? But you have to respect that. And what Daniel Dubois was able to do that night was special. I mean, yes, we have seen him struggle a little bit with fighters that are smaller than him, Alexander Usyk, even the first fight against Andy Ruiz. But he is still one of the best heavyweights of our era, likely a future Hall of Famer. And, do I think that he's taken a step back, or do I think that he's not? I don't.
And we've seen Joshua and how he's bounced back from losses in the past. In fact, some of his best performances have come in the wake of them. The adjustments he had to make after the Ruiz fight. After the Usyk fight, he comes back and stays busy and runs off those wins over Franklin and Helenius and Otto Wallin. He's always had the ability to have the humility and the introspection to figure out where those corrections can be made.
And I think that he deserves all the credit. And I think if you talk to Jake, Jake would want you to give AJ all the credit too, because he would say, well, when I beat him, I want you to still say he hasn't lost a step. I would want you to still say that he's still the kind of guy that's on track to have the big fights that they want to make in 2026. And you know what? He looks to be in tremendous shape, Corey.
I don't know that he's ever not been in tremendous shape.
But if you think sometimes coming off 15 months off, if at any time you were going to catch somebody maybe not, physically at their peak, it's usually when they're most active, when they've stayed in camp, when they've stayed in the gym. That hasn't been the case in the last year and a half for AJ.
Yeah, the Under Armour compression wear can't compress the musculature of Anthony Joshua.
They're screaming. You might gotta let them out, AJ. Sure, the table of women behind me would not mind that whatsoever. I'm still trying to make sense of it. Now when niggas smart me, I think what they're generous. Like is he genuine or proud for benefits?
Anthony Joshua wrapping things up. We see him get unlaced here. We saw him hitting the pads. Many people believe that jab in particular, one of the best jabbers in the heavyweight division, one of the more accurate jabbers, that will be the key to this fight. And the chain battle will continue.
We might got to get our girl Sibley some shades if he's gonna put that chain back on. She might need to get some stunner shades or something to protect from all that. Who's got some shades for my girl?
it like myself. I say self-made, meaning I design myself. County jail fade, you can put my file yourself. Spot rags, swallow rocks, I'm getting high myself. Damn right, I like the life I've been.
All right, AJ, now standing by with Sibley.
We are here in the ring, and you put the chain back on, okay? Everyone, Miami, make some noise. Anthony Joshua. Let's get down to business. First things first. Come up here. First things first. Walk me through that moment that you decided that this fight was going to happen. You wanted to be a part of this fight night here in Miami with Jake Paul.
Yeah, it was an honor to be invited to America, to come and perform in front of some amazing people, the Miami crowd, the international crowd. So I just said it's got to be done. Jake Paul, he got some big balls. And I've got to give him respect for taking this fight because I'm fucking ready.
Like beyond ready. It's go time.
It's go time.
You know it's been cool to watch you on social. I know you fought all over the world. You look very calm, cool, collected, and you're having fun. How is this experience with MVP putting on a fight like this, putting it through onto Netflix? How has it been for you to just kind of let loose? It looks like you're having a good time.
Yeah, listen, MVP, shout out to them. They've done an amazing job. But if I'm going to let you all into a little secret, there is no one better than Matchroom Boxing.
You had to say that, didn't you?
I just tell the truth. I just speak my truth.
But you were seeing you're having fun at the MVP house.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
Listen, it's going to be a major fight going down. You guys, obviously, the main event. Is there anything else you want to say to the fans? I've asked this to a few of the fighters tonight since they've been there for you day one, and to the new ones who are going to be tuned in on Friday.
Let me hear what they want to see. What do they want to see? I can't hear you. They want to see some big punches thrown and some knockouts, and we're going to deliver.
Wait, say it again. We couldn't hear everything.
They want to see some big, heavy punches thrown, and they want to see someone knocked out, and I'm going to deliver.
You're handling the KO is what you're saying. Okay. Man, a few words. Say what you had to say. Miami, one more time. Make some noise. Anthony Joshua.
Well, a very serious AJ here tonight, very playful throughout the week, but you can see that switch starting to flip for AJ, who has been, again, a part of some of the biggest fights of this generation. He's familiar with this kind of platform, and you're seeing that serious side come out here tonight.
Corey, no doubt about it. That's exactly what I was going to say. I said, okay, you can tell it's fight week.
Fight's real
you
now.
Can tell it, yeah, you can tell that it's getting real. And you can tell how seriously he's taking this fight. So I just, every day we're getting closer and closer. I can't wait.
As unbelievable as it is real. Jake Paul is facing Anthony Joshua, live only on Netflix. And it is time to see the problem child. As we take a closer look at the boxing career of Jake Paul, now 12-1 with 7 knockouts, now world rated number 14 in the cruiserweight division, but stepping up to heavyweight to challenge AJ on Friday night. An unthinkable moment. Judgment Day is this Friday, and we are ready to see El Gallo de Dorado.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the final man of the MVP Showcase 2, headlining the bill this Friday night, live around the world from the Kaseya Center here in Miami, Florida, and live around the world on Netflix. He enters the ring Friday night with a near-perfect professional record of 12 victories versus just 1 defeat, with 7 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Dorado, Puerto Rico, by way of Cleveland, Ohio, USA, introducing the man who brought boxing to Netflix, the biggest promoter of women's boxing ever. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the MVP. Ladies and gentlemen, Jake El Gallo de Dorado Paul.
comes the man who made it all happen. The man of the hour, Jake Paul. And not just the man who made it happen, but as we discussed off the top of the broadcast, Christina, a man who seemingly 3-4 years ago visualized this and then actually made it happen.
You know, there's so much to be said about manifestation and putting things into the atmosphere and having that self-belief. And you can't deny the fact that Jake Paul is not just a talk about it, but he's a be about it type person. He manifested this moment. He had Anthony Joshua on his hit list. Maybe it's happening a little sooner than he had anticipated, but for him, this is exactly the way that he thought his path was going to go. And, you know, we're just a few days away now.
Well, Jake has talked about the fact that that pressure isn't really hitting him right now. And in fact, he feels that the pressure is on Anthony Joshua, that he can go in there, that he can fight free. And he said at the November press conference, if he starts getting punched up and losing rounds, I think AJ is going to crumble.
I mean, that's fair. If that's how he feels and that's where he's preparing, you know, he's obviously a showman. He's been training hard. He's had to make a huge switch from preparing to fight a lightweight to a heavyweight. That's not an easy transition to make in the middle of camp, especially as a novice fighter, when typically more of these guys that are coming up fighting, they know the weight class that they're going to stay at. That's a huge jump from what he's done, but the team has got him ready. He's supremely confident, and I think he says and believes that he sees holes in Anthony Joshua's game that he believes that he'll be able to expose on Friday night.
Well, you also look at some of the names and some of the assistants he's brought in camp, guys like Lawrence Okoli, some legit top-level heavyweights that he's been sparring with. In terms of a crash course that you could get in heavyweight boxing, you couldn't have asked for a better camp than the one he put together in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, and Jared Anderson as well, and just, you know, you could tell that had a black eye, nose was looking a little more crooked when he went on Pat McAfee's show and talked about that. But it's because, you know, Third and Jay Leon and the crew told him, don't take it easy on Jake. You're brought in here to do a job. We need you to prepare him to the best of your ability for what he's about to face. Yes, the glove size is different. Yes, headgear, etc. We know that. But at the same time, like, they really went in on him in sparring to prepare him for this moment, and he's supremely confident because of it.
Yeah, and again, we referenced it earlier, but kind of adding to the audacity of having that self-belief. Jake has described it as delusional self-confidence, right? Those are his words. You go from having to prepare for a shorter, smaller opponent to having to face a legit top heavyweight in the world. And if you look at the story of Jake Paul, it's a series of chapters of him doing things that at the time seemed unthinkable. Here he walks into the same type of situation on Friday.
Well, yeah, as you're looking at in the toolbox of some of the other previous opponents, you know, the knock has always been, oh, you're not fighting a legitimate fighter, or you're not, you know, yes, he did fight Tommy Fury. When you did, then you lost. You know what I mean? It's the fact that he's had a different path and different type of opposition. So now he's stepping up huge amounts in this fight against Anthony Joshua. And if nobody else believes he can do it, he doesn't care, because he's been facing doubters like that his entire life. As long as those men in there that are getting his gloves ready, wrapping his hands, believe, that's all he needs. Even his mom was worried, right? No, are you sure? Like,
That's right.
her reaction to that was like,
that's right.
You know, I felt that as a mother. You never want your son to be in harm's way, and harm's way is exactly what he's in.
We're going to see Jake hit the pads here, and we'll get a look at what he feels is going to be a key advantage for him in this fight. He feels that he has a hand speed advantage. He feels that as the smaller man in this fight, that alone, in addition to his hand speed, could make things difficult on AJ.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a solid jab. He has the right hand that has caused him some viral knockouts. And I think he has a little bit more confidence because he knows if there's any type of opponent that Anthony Joshua has consistently struggled with, it's been the smaller type of opponents. It's been the Andy Ruiz. It's been the Alexander Usyk twice. It's been the guys that are not matching him size for size, pound for pound. And I think that, you know, Jake speaking on that gives him confidence.
Well, and we are we're getting a first live look at a heavyweight Jake Paul here tonight. And, you know, one thing, and even amongst the doubters of Jake Paul, even the hardcore folks in the boxing industry, the one thing that they will always concede is that this man has power. That has always been undeniable. And the question is, does he have enough power to keep Anthony Joshua off of him on Friday night?
I mean, that's the question, right? I guess that's what we're going to have to wait and see. But it's heavyweight boxing. If the timing can beat the power, if the speed can test the chin, AJ's chin is not invincible. We've seen that. We're not telling him to do something that nobody else hasn't done before. As you get a look at some of the power on the pad there right here in front of us at the open workouts.
Yeah, you can certainly rip those left hooks, and that's something that a man everyone in boxing respects. Buddy McGirt said, and he was talking to USA Today just last month. He said, hey, Jake can really punch. This is heavyweight boxing, and anything can happen.
Biggest upset ever.
You heard Jake just saying, biggest upset ever. And the fight odds are certainly long. Jake Paul, a plus 650 underdog, as he heads in for the biggest night of his life on Friday. Jake is ready, and he is standing by with Sibley.
Miami, make some noise for Jake Paul! I'm going to get right to it. I just talked to Anthony Joshua. He said he is promising a KO for the fans that are watching. What is your response to that?
Yeah, one of us is going to sleep. That's what we're going to do here. That's what this heavyweight fight's all about. That's why we're here. All glory to God. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus, for this moment. I'm just so grateful to all the fans, everybody. I started my boxing journey here in Miami, and we're bringing it back. I'm going to shock the world and pull off the biggest upset in sports history.
Yes, give it up! To know everything that you've built in the last 4 years, to know what the team has done, your team, inside and outside of that ring, it's coming to life on Friday, and you just continue to level up, and you do it from the heart. What does that mean to see it come to life this Friday?
Man, it's a testament to hard work and every single day dedicating yourself to a craft, pushing through when you don't want to be there, and it all pays off in the long run. And believing in yourself, setting goals that people think are impossible. That's really what my story is all about, and that I hope to inspire kids at home. I set these goals, everyone laughs at them, and then I'm the one laughing in the end.
There's loving something, and then there's being passionate about something. It feels like you said, it doesn't matter what the naysayers have to say, but the people who see the work that goes into it, like your team, your corner. Have you learned something about yourself through this current process? I know it's hard to reflect on things, but so far at this point, who is Jake Paul?
Man, you know, I think at the end of the day, I'm a kid with a big heart that wants to change the world, disruptor, and I never took no for an answer, and I'm just chasing my dreams, having fun, and living the American dream, really.
I love it. Can I borrow one of those earrings? Oh, no, he said no. He said no. You didn't even tell him the mic. Anything else you want to say to your family and everyone out there watching? And make sure they tune in Friday, obviously, for the big one.
Believe, witness is about to go down.
There you go, Miami! LIV, make some noise for Jake Paul!
So Jake Paul promising the biggest upset in sports history. And Christina, it'd be hard to argue that it wouldn't be if Jake Paul can upset one of the best heavyweights of this generation, an Olympic gold medalist. It's hard to categorize it as much else.
I couldn't agree more. We're talking about more than just in boxing. We're talking about in sports, right? The tale of the tape One last look at it tonight. AJ, 6 years. Jake Paul's a senior. He has both the height and the reach advantage, the experience advantage. But one thing you can't measure here in the tail of the tape is that heart in this man, Jake Paul's chest. It will be on display come Friday night. Tall task, literally and figuratively. And we're a little over 72 hours away.
Yeah, and we have had a heck of a time kicking off the Fight Week party from here at LIV Nightclub. A big thanks to my broadcast colleagues, Christina Poncher and Sibley Scholes. I'm Corey Erdman saying so long, and we'll see you Friday night live on Netflix.
They say I'm unproven, that I talk big and fight small.
It's time for America to see real power. Who's still talking when this right hand flies?
This is the fight that shuts everyone up.
This is the fight that shuts man down.